of day.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a slightly breezy Djuma Private Game Reserve here in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. My name's Kelly and I'm going to be with you for the next 4 hours to see what the bush has to offer. With me this afternoon on camera is the delectable Umpo. Thank you very much. We've come here to have a little checkup on our parrot family just behind Dam Cam here. We've had a little head popping in and out from time to time. We're very excited you can all join us this afternoon. Please send us your questions and your comments. We love to share as many as we can. Please send them through #WildEarth on Twitter. If you are under the age of 18, please do send us an email. kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. You come up with the most creative questions I have ever heard. Or you can register on the Wild Earth website, head over to the channel page, and you can submit your questions there. Okay, I have a job to do here, and the team has possibly foolishly entrusted me with the job of moving the Dam Cam mic. Seems I can't even start the car. Come on, Wendy, come on, you can do it. So we're going to cruise around to Dam Cam just to show you that we are indeed live. I think the monkeys have played on the microphone round at Dam Cam, so I'm going to pop around here and we are going to flip the microphone over together. I was told it was quite simple. You just have to flip the black dish over. So let's see. This microphone is the most sensitive microphone I have ever known. We can hear lions from the other side of the world. So, okay, this looks easy enough. Right. Okay, they said flip the black thing over. Well, I can't reach for a start, so I might have to... How am I supposed to reach that, tech team? Oh, I guess I'm going to have to climb. This could end badly. Oh, why am I doing this? Okay, Dam Cam zoomies, can you hear better? We happy? You happy with that? Impo? Is that flipped? Okay, that's flipped. Now I need to get down. Oh my goodness, this has got thorns on. Okay, so Zoomies, hi. Okay, multitasking to the max. How unpleasant that you might be able to see and hear me from 2 different angles. That is that jobbed. Oh, alrighty. I'm gonna see if I can stay friends with Wendy for the afternoon. Maybe she's a little bit chilly. In the meantime, maybe we should pop over and have a look at what the official weather is doing this afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome. I'm so happy that Kelly could actually flick the switch there. I wonder if she didn't climb up onto the bonnet of on Wendy. Hopefully she did the line dance again while she was flicking the switch. But anyway, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cedric Dold, and behind the camera we've got Owen. Welcome to Safari. That was fantastic. A lovely day today, nice and cloudy. It is a little bit humid. Of course, the clouds is keeping a little bit of the heat in and all that, but it's a lovely day, nice and pleasant. We are sitting here at Treehouse Dam. Now, I just want to quickly also give you an update. I did go around to that hyena den this morning. There was no activity. I just went around there again. There's still no activity. So I haven't seen any of the females around that den site for a bit. So yeah, just a bit of an update on the Djuma clan. And then that, of course, you can see we are sitting here with a beautiful big male hippo. Once again, just enjoying the Treehouse Dam water all by himself. Not really any other interruptions or any other hippos coming around to this dam. I think he's definitely a hippo that likes to be on his own. Usually, of course, these big boys, they get to that certain age where they decide to, not really compete for those pods anymore. And they'll end up by themselves and don't have too much stress. But they're still very protective over this waterhole. So he's still going to be very dominant and still very territorial over the waterhole itself. But of course, not too interested in really looking for those pods. But yes, of course, I was sitting this side. I'm thinking as well this afternoon, hopefully everybody can send us, first of all, send us some nice comments, questions, or even suggestions on what you really want to see, or what you want to ask us. And please send those things through to us to keep us also on our toes. I'm thinking of going maybe towards Twin Dams again. I'm trying to still see if Tsemba, I didn't get any of his tracks coming out of that area where he killed that warthog yesterday afternoon. So I've got a feeling he still might be in that area. Well, you never know, but this morning he might have been still in that drainage line around there, just north of Twin Dams. So I'm just feeling maybe just to head up to that side, and hopefully he might have come out and drank some water and lay down somewhere close to the waterhole. So I'm actually hoping for a bit of a view on him. But yeah, other than that, we're also just going to see what else we can find around here. And of course, beautiful at the Treehouse Dam. We've always got our little beautiful lapwings or blacksmith lapwings. It's pretty much around the water edges. I think the 2 little chicks were running around this morning as well. So those 2 little chicks are really getting quite big. I'm just trying to see if we can find them again. But as you know, those little chicks of the blacksmith lapwings, they are absolutely adventurous. They really head out and do their own little thing around the water areas, which is fantastic. Sorry, I just want to see, I just saw a quick glimpse of, looks like maybe an African hawk eagle. Holy moly, good afternoon. Do lapwings have breeding seasons? Well, you'll find actually lapwings, they can actually even breed twice a year if they need to. So it's no really seasons for them. They're not really really worried about any vegetation types that's going to be disappearing. So this really eats insects. But I'm just going to take a look there quickly. Oh, sorry, I just want to see what he's got. very far, but it looks like a brown snake eagle that Odie just located there. So I think that's what I just saw flying that side. Looks like that African brown snake eagle that usually hangs around here at Treehouse Dam. But it's quite far. Well spotted there, Odie. Well done. But yeah, no, the lapwings you'll find, they'll breed. There's no specific seasons for the lapwings itself. So yeah, of course, if they do breed and they are successful with these two little chicks, you'll find they'll breed maybe not long after again. It's, as I said, maybe twice a year if the case is right or in the situation or the scenario is right for them. But I'm just trying to see if I can find those little white chicks, because I know that they are still very small, but they are getting to a beautiful size slowly but surely. You can actually see their legs are really growing now. Actually growing out of their own body proportion, which is really weird. It looks like little stilts that they're running on at the moment. Oh, there's one going to the mom there. Wait, the other one, I think the other lapwing, they're there. Right, yeah. So the one is just under the mom's, under the wing there, that lapwing that's on the screen. So the one little chick just went there. Of course, grabbing some warmth from the chest of the parent and just going into the downing feathers or the chest feathers of the parent. Of course, keeping nice and warm, especially on a nice cool weather day like this. It is a little bit cool, so I think they also feel safe with the mom and also just kind of tucking inside of their feathers like that. Sometimes you'll find actually going under the wing, so it's like keeping them very, very warm under that wing. So usually if there's three of them, you'll just see a lot of little legs sticking out, and it looks really, really funny. It's like the jacana. Let's see what it does, but it is funny how those little legs stick out from the parent. It's also like the African jacana. Same thing with jacana is when it carries the chicks around, you'll see those little long talons coming out from the feathers or from the chest of the parent, and it looks really, really strange. But yeah, no, that is very much keeping it nice and safe and warm now. But there are the lapwings, blacksmith lapwings, or actually all lapwings itself. I've even seen the crowned lapwing. They're very protective over their chicks, and especially here at this Treehouse Dam, I've seen recently with these two lapwings. If something like a Burchell starling or one of the other birds, larger birds, come down for a drink, these lapwings are straight up in the air and mocking them and trying to chase them off from the water areas, even no matter how far they are from the chicks. They're really kind of well protected, and they're really protective over their youngsters. But I think that's any mother is like that, but more so with the lapwings. For some reason, they are very protective, and they have got hearts of a Jack Russell. Hippo's having a little bit of fun as well inside the water. I think he's just really enjoying it. Rick 73, good afternoon. Welcome to Wild Earth. Thank you for joining us on the Sunset Safari. It's the lilac-breasted, the most colourful bird around here on Djuma. I'm going to try and run through it. Look, it is definitely rated up there. I think why so is that it's always really sitting on top of the branch like a flower. So it's really never in the thickets and the thick vegetation, where you can hardly see the sun hitting off and reflecting off those feathers. So I think that's why we always will say that the lilac-breasted roller is definitely the most colourful, due to being so exposed to the sunlight. But then again, you also get your Cape Glossy starlings. So your Cape Glossy starlings, you'll find also very, very pretty. Also the melanin is very high in their pigmentation in their feathers, and that really gives off that reflection. Now there you got the Cape Glossy starling, and you can just see, he just ran them. But yeah, they're also very beautiful. When the sun hits them, they go into like a beautiful green, blue, purple state as well. It's just how that the pigmentation actually reflects the sunlight itself. And there you can see there comes a lot. Sorry, I just saw once again that blacksmith lapwing chasing the little, see, they just chased those Cape Glossy starlings off from here. So as soon as the poor Cape Glossy starlings came to have a little bit of a drink, these blacksmith lapwings chased them off. But anyway, coming back to it, I think, look, honestly, I think I think the lilac-breasted roller is still one of the prettiest, and I would rate it one of the prettiest and the most colourful in the area. But anyway, good question.
I can't seem to shake the feeling that there's lions somewhere. Well, there's definitely lions somewhere, but I'm going up into the same area as I've been working for the last couple of drives now. We had those buffalo move through yesterday, and I haven't got anything to substantiate this feeling. But I can't seem to shake it, so I've come back up towards Mvubu Road, and I'm gonna see if I can feel the vibes. That's the long shot. But I just think it's worth checking some more. This is really nice weather for predators to be moving in, actually. Perfect hunting weather. Nice and cool. If I could just find a track. I am checking everything that looks like it might be feline toes.
Good afternoon and welcome to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment we are looking at an area which has been disturbed where an animal was actually busy rolling and it was taking a little dust bath right over here. And the purpose of that is to get rid of parasites that might be in the Vernier coat. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a moment or two. First, I just would like to introduce myself as well as our cameraman. So my name is JP LaRue, and behind the camera we've got BK. So when it came to this area, there was a number of possibilities which animals could have potentially have rolled over here in the dust. And when it does come to dust rolling, there's two that always comes to my mind. The very first one is zebra, and the second one is blue wildebeest. I just love rolling in these dusty areas. And you can also see that there's a lot of ash over here from a fire that has happened in the past. On closer inspection, where there's a few things that I did find, and it's these little black hairs, or some of the things that I did manage to find, which came out from the coat after they rolled over here. So normally what I do look for is a combination of black as well as white hairs. But today I can't find any white hairs. So what I did have to go and look for is for the tracks. And right over here, we can make out the track of our zebra. When it comes to zebras, they've got a round hoof and they've got this tiny little triangle at the back part of a hoof, which is referred to as a frog. And when we do look at their hoof, it's also rimmed. And here you can see the rim forming a pattern on the outer edge of the hoof. When it comes to zebras as well, we refer to them as odd-toed ungulates, which means that they're ungulates with either one or three-toe combination. And therefore, when you do go and look in a taxonomically correct animal book, you'll find both rhino as well as zebras next to one another. In the case of a zebra, they've got only one toe, and in the case of rhinos, they've got 3 toes. Some of their ancestors actually had 5 toes, and progressively they actually became less and less, and that makes the zebra the most specialized of all the odd-toed ungulates. The ungulate's foot structure is specifically designed for fast running and therefore getting away from predators. They can also use these hooves very effectively as weapons, and what they do is they simply just kick downwards with the front feet or backwards with the hind feet. And I've seen them kicking one another to pieces, as well as kicking a crocodile's jaw off in the past, and very effectively kicking a lioness in the face. They've even been known to actually kill lions. However, I've never personally seen a Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment we're watching a number of elephant bulls that are busy drinking. And as you notice, one of them has actually just put his trunk into the mouth of the other. It's a greeting, and it's also a way that they build trust with one another. Quite often you will see actually that both of the individuals will actually put their trunk tips into one another's mouths. A group of bulls we do find them quite often, and the one that's in the group is the one with a collar. The second most prominent individual, which is easy to recognize, is a one that actually has a short tip to the trunk, where the trunk was most likely cut off within a snare. And elephants do quite often go and investigate snares because they find a whole of unfamiliar smells surrounding that. We come back to our elephants. It's fairly easy also to identify it as a bachelor herd. And if we do look at them, they're all equal in size. If we also do look at some of the main anatomical features, you'll notice that they've got round head profiles, unlike cows, which has a typical square head profile. Some of the other features is that you'll also notice is that the angle between the chest and the groin is quite angled compared to a cow that has a straight line between the chest and groin. One of the things that we don't find in between the front legs of an elephant bull is mammae, and they have them in between their front legs in the case of the females. And that's interestingly a characteristic which they actually share with a tiny little animal which is known as a dussie. And they mostly like rocky outcrops, although there is some species which specialize in living in tree environments as well. Just lastly, we generally also find that both males, in the case of bulls, their tusks is also slightly larger. However, I've also seen a number of cows with a number of impressive tusks on them. And the fact that we do have tusks, males and females, that's also one of those characteristics which actually separates them from their Asiatic counterparts. But for now, let's just watch our elephants and enjoy the tranquil scene and listen to them drinking. While we're watching our elephants busy enjoying their little drink, let's go and see what's happening at Djuma. It sounds like they're located on some impalas.
Yes, welcome back. Sorry about a little bit of freezing screens there with Pridelands on JP and his elephants. I'm sure everything is all good now. But yeah, as we're sitting at Twin Dams, I did go take a look around where Tsemba was from yesterday afternoon. I did scratch around that area. I cannot pick up on anything. I think a lot of this wind and the rain from this morning, earlier this morning before drive, it might have washed a lot of the tracks, really more of the recent tracks away. So it's a little bit difficult to see exactly the direction he was or he's heading into. But as you can see, we are just watching a beautiful male impala, just enjoying the grooming and the cleaning of the oxpeckers around there. But he's all by himself. So sometimes you'll find males really hanging around alone because they don't really want to challenge in those bachelor herds. And maybe he's also getting to that age now. He's just really kind of more enjoying the lone time. But it could be also very dangerous for him because safety in numbers is not playing in his favor at all. So being by himself like that, unfortunately, he has to look after himself, listen out. So you'll find he becomes a little bit more aware and a little bit more kind of observant compared to other impalas that's in, of course, the bachelor herds or even in the breeding herds. But he is enjoying the open clearing, so at least he's got visual of anything. If any danger does come around to him, he has got a good 360 point of view. But yeah, no, I haven't seen anything really coming out. I'm looking for any other little tracks coming down here. I've got a bit of maybe a herd of elephants, the tracks coming pretty much more on the eastern side, but it looks like it did go into the Molawati. But I don't think anything really coming through to the side. It looks like he's just shook all those oxpeckers off him. Oh, there they go. All the oxpeckers. A very nice indicator. Nice OD. You can hear that little chirps. Sorry. Oh, good following there. But of course, you'll find a lot of the oxpeckers a nice indicator, especially for us guides when you're doing a walk around in the bush. And okay, well, he just decided to bolt. Definitely not running from anything. As you can just see, he's not high speed. Just I think maybe he just wanted to go a little bit further into the vegetation. But yeah, the oxpecker is always a good indicator for all of us. So it's always a nice thing to listen out for. Grace, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on Wild Earth and on the Sunset Safari. Around about 50 ticks. Yeah, I think about 50. Yeah, I think about 50. Maybe it'll be perfect. Maybe between 50 and 55. For 52. Yeah, 52 ticks. But a lot of ticks. You can imagine little ticks. You've got small ticks. You've got it depends on which ticks. I mean, if you've got the Bontu tick, it's really a big tick, or you've got the rhino tick, or you've got pepper ticks. So it depends on what kind of ticks they're really kind of feeding on. So I think more the Bontu tick, because that is quite a big tick. It's a real nasty one. I think if you ever looked inside of Maripsa's ears, he's got really those terrible little grey ticks. And those are quite big compared to a pepper tick. A pepper tick is as small as a pepper grain, hence the name, pepper tick. I think if it's a pepper tick, I think oxpecker will have to eat maybe, 200, maybe even more, 300 ticks. Yeah, it's very difficult to say. But Grace, thank you very much for the question. It's an interesting thing to know and to see how many they do need to kind of feed on. But it is... I wonder if anybody has really done a study and counted on the ticks, how many ticks a oxpecker has plucked off a herbivore. Anyway, well, we certainly saw that Twin Dams. It is head off to Kelly. And let's think and see what her opinion is on how many ticks does an oxpecker need to feed on per day.
That's a very interesting question. I think I've actually been asked that before, and I did some maths, and I didn't come to a conclusion. Pepper ticks, 200. I'd probably support that, but then if they were eating those big bont ticks or something, the ones that get really full with blood, probably less. I suppose it would depend, as all my answers start, I suppose it would depend on how much blood was in the ticks. I haven't got a clue. I would say 200 is a fair shout for those pepper ticks. Sorry, I'm somewhat distracted. I just saw a leopard track on Galago Shortcut. And also I see, Cedric, you had a lone male impala. It is dangerous indeed, hanging out on your own when you're an impala. And we know that predators do claim lots of male impalas in this season because they're just not concentrating. Joshua, leopards and lions. We are certainly trying. I have been pondering. There's leopard tracks on this road, but I think after JP finding that leopard in a tree, I think leopards are going to have been hunting last night. This is massive speculation, but it was windy. Leopards will often use, these tracks are still on this road. Leopards will often use wind and rain and things as cover to hunt in. So I think we need to focus in the trees this afternoon, if I'm honest. I could be wrong, but I'm going to need, while I'm doing the lost lion or leopard lean out the door, I'm going to need everyone else to try and keep an eye on the trees for me. Because when you are trying to find footprints, it can tend to mean you miss other things. So you all need to keep a close eye for dangling legs in trees for me. It's also quite windy. If I was a leopard, I would have caught something delicious last night. I would have popped it in a tree to keep it safe from the hyenas. And now I would be leisurely spending my afternoon lazing in a tree with some delicious snacks available at all times. So I think we need to focus this afternoon in the trees. I can't seem to drag myself away from this northeastern section of the property. I don't know why. It's difficult in this wind as well. Like I said yesterday, for me it's difficult to age tracks. Everything is nervous. So I'm just really keeping my eyes peeled this afternoon. But sometimes it can be easy to forget to look up. But yeah, interesting how many ticks. That's a bit like how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. How many ticks would an oxpecker eat? No. Brilliant, brilliant questions. Keep them coming. This is your safari. So please send us in your comments, your thoughts, your questions, and we will get through as many of them as we can. I've got a feeling someone is going to find a leopard in a tree. So I'm going to stick with this optimistic idea and keep circling around this northeastern section of the property, and we shall see what comes.
Well, we're sitting here nice with our beautiful lilac-breasted roller, one of the most prettiest birds around here in this area, and of course in Djuma itself. I've got really, really pretty colors. Unfortunately, those colors aren't really coming out now at this point in time because the sun is behind the clouds, so it's not really kind of giving that beautiful reflection off there. That lilac colors on their chest and that beautiful electric blue on their wings and the green behind their ears. Well, not ears, but behind their head. So yeah, but it's still, you can see going away, you can still see there is beautiful colors still coming through on the lilac-breasted roller. Now typical, as I was saying, they do sit really on top of these trees or on the dead trees or on top of bushes. And the whole idea with those beautiful colorations, now male and female have got beautiful colors. It's usually always just the male that's really got the striking colors, but with the lilac-breasted roller and all the roller species, it's a male and a female. And the reason for that is also just to the attraction of insects. They are insectivorous. And especially that the lilac-breasted roller is the only roller species that we do have here that does not migrate. And I think it just went to go and kill something. It might come back to the same tree again. I think, there. Hey. All right, it just made a kill. and sit still. Okay, no, there he is. Fantastic. I think he just lost it. I think he made a kill and I think it just fell out of his beak. Yeah, yeah, no, but it's a beautiful bird. Yeah, hopefully we see another kill. Maybe. I think we'll just sit here and take a look. Beautiful, yeah, with a beautiful lilac-breasted roller. As you can see, those colors, in a way, they're not too striking at this point in time because the sun is behind the clouds. But you can still see a bit of that lilac color on the breast and the beautiful blue wings and that stunning tail feathers, that like little forks that comes out, like little chopsticks. Absolutely stunning with that real white front just above the beak and the green on the top of its head. Now, of course, the lilac-breasted roller, very much known in this area, of course, as one of the most photographed bird due to the reasons of the colors, and they're always sitting really on these top of the dead branches on top of bushes. The reason for that, of course, they are insectivorous, so they're trying to attract any insects around with that striking colors, or the insect thinking it is a flower. And of course, they're very important for them, especially in winter time, because they're the only roller species out of all the roller species that we do have here in this area that do not migrate. They do not migrate north, of course, the equator. I think we've got a couple of vultures that's flying at the background there. Looks like just catching some thermals. No, it's not vultures. What is it? Sorry. No, it's not Battleia. Battleia's got no tails there. I think it's difficult to see, but it's not a Battleia. Anyway. Tori, good afternoon. I think it's an African hawk eagle, but that's difficult. Tori, good afternoon. So many birds, and do they like this moody weather? I don't think so. I find it is always opposite. Birds, when it's really windy, because it's a really tough thing for them to fly on windy days. I mean, on the ground itself, it's already windy, so you can imagine up there how windy it is. And I think it must be quite tough, as well as the thermals. There's not many thermals around, especially for your bigger birds, your birds of prey, the raptors, and the vultures and all that, because they're not catching those proper thermals, so they have to really work harder on their flight. So yeah, well, it's nice. It's nice to see so many birds on such a moody day. I agree with you, Tori. Fantastic. I love it. But I think those could be African hawk eagles, if I'm not mistaken. But it's very difficult to say. There is two of them. They do hunt in pairs, and there is just the two of them that side. But I might be mistaken on that. It was a bit tough to really pinpoint on which eagle or bird of prey that was. But yeah, we've got another smaller bird of prey, or insectivorous, lilac-breasted roller, of course. So just feeding on the main insects around here, grasshoppers, little bugs, crickets. So they're really... And I've seen them also feeding on things like chameleons, like the little chameleons crossing the roads during the daytime, and they find them or in the tree. So they do also eat larger species. So they're really kind of opportunistic when it comes to anything that they can feed on. But of course, the lilac-breasted roller as well, as you know, that because of the beautiful coloration, there is a myth, many, there's a couple of myths behind their feathers. The one I know about is, I know back in many years ago when there was nothing like cell phones or telephones or anything like that, they used to, if the guy liked a girl and he wanted to get married with this girl, he would send a little envelope with a lilac-breasted roller's feather inside of it. And of course with the little note there, please marry me, or would you marry me? And he'll send it with the feather, and off it goes with it, or the postman or the telegraph man, off he goes. It could take 2, 3, 4 days to get to that lady. And once it gets to her, she would read the note, she'll take a look at the feather, and of course she'll write a note back to him. And if it comes back to the guy and he opens the envelope, and if he opens the envelope and that feather is still there, unfortunately the answer is a no. But if that feather is not there anymore, the answer is yes. And that's why they say there's a thing called, that's what they call it in Afrikaans, a troupunt. A troupunt is, of course, like a wedding band. So, yeah, it'll be sad if it's not returned. I mean, or it'll be sad if it is returned. Then it's a bit of a, I think he can wipe his eyes, and his tears with the feather itself. I think I see a buffalo. Sorry. I think I see a buffalo in the distance. Sorry about that, folks. I just want to quickly go. I think something's going down to the... It is. Sarah, good afternoon. Yes, I think these birds definitely, they must have really strong wings, especially in this windy day. Oh, it is a buffalo. An old male buffalo that's coming through here. I'm going to quickly get there. Yeah, no, definitely. You can imagine flying and all of a sudden this wind takes you, a gust takes you one side and into the next side, and you have to fight it all the time. And so, yeah, but it's very cool. I think he must have been wallowing here. There's a wallow on the right-hand side. Oh, it's a big boy. These guys are always the grumpy males, these old dugger boys, we call them, lonely males. I'm just going to see if I can get around to the front of him here. I don't know, let's see if it comes into an open clearing for us. Or actually, let's just stop, yeah. He's just moving away now, of course. Yeah, look at him. Real grumpy boy. Okay, I'm just going to go a little bit back. Sorry, just Odie. I'm just going to go a bit back, yeah. There we go. As you can see. Yeah, you don't want to mess with an old boy like that. Usually when they get to really the ages of about 20, of course, males, and they become, these are the guys you do not want. Big five, yeah, these old males is pretty much the most dangerous one on foot, and they never give you a warning. And yeah, they're just very grumpy because of testosterone, and there's no females around. Of course, it looks like we just caught him in time before he's really going into this thick vegetation to the left. So that's nice. I think that's a male buffalo that I saw the tracks running on Central, going towards Nyala South. And that's exactly where he looks like he was coming from. So it might be him that actually did a whole loop. Wow, awesome. Marshall 77, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for the question. Does the mud keep them warm and cool? Depends on the weather. Well, it does keep them nice and cool, especially on hot days. That's why you'll find them many times they'll actually wallow on very hot days. It actually protects their skin and actually keeps them nice and cool from the elements. On cooler days, I mean, if you can think of putting mud on you, don't you think it'll also be like a jacket? So it might actually be also the opposite to that as well. So I might be wrong on the cool days and keeping them warm, but definitely on hot days, it's definitely keeps them cool. That's the whole idea of the wallowing, and also to peel the parasites off as well. Oh, look at that sun coming through the clouds there. It looked like sun. It's actually beautiful there. Oh, I got a couple of starlings outside in the top of that tree there. Oh, look at it. Look, beautiful. The sun rays is coming through the clouds. Absolutely stunning. Looks like really something out of a sci-fi movie. Yeah. It seems like something is going to be coming down and landing on our planet. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, unfortunately that buffalo has disappeared now further into the vegetation. But it was nice. That was nice. At least we got a good old view on an old male buffalo. And those guys can become really nasty on days on walks and all that. I know that's one thing I've had an experience with an old male buffalo before. And yeah, but we'll just leave it there.
I am still slowly making my way around, back around the back of where Dam Cam is. I cannot drag myself away from this area of the property. I have seen a couple of leopard tracks moving in this direction, but I'm only picking up one or two every 150 meters or so. I've got a tracking stick now, so everything will be fine. Such lovely weather for predators to move around in. We also had a tiny bit of rain last night, not much, but just enough to make the ground a little bit harder than it was before.
Director rudely interrupted me there. But yeah, welcome back. Anyway, I've got a nice story with the buffalo now. This has happened many years ago at one of the lodges. And of course, after a game drive, I had an old German couple, very nice couple, but the guy had a little bit of a bad hip. And then, of course, I had a honeymoon couple from Italy as well. So, of course, I had the four of them on my vehicle. And so I asked him in the morning after morning game drive, anybody wants to do a bushwalk? And, of course, all four of them said yes. But I told the guy, well... And but anyway, I'll continue with that story. Let's get to Kelly. I think she's got something for you.
Look what we just found. I switched off the car immediately because this leopard is hunting. If anyone can ID this leopard from this angle, please let us know, because I have no clue. I'm going to sit very quietly. This leopard is stalking. I'm not going to move a muscle. I can still see spots. This leopard has gone down into invisibility mode. This is the joy of this show. Everything is completely live, and we have the opportunity to just sit and wait and bide our time. I haven't seen any movement of either leopard or any potential prey behind there. I'm just going to check quickly with binoculars. Can you see anything behind there, Paul? I can't see anything. Have you got a gap? I'll try. Simone, whoop-de-doo indeed. I was so jealous of Cedric yesterday. I've only seen 3 kills in my whole career. 2 leopard, 1 lion. And I was desperately trying to watch yesterday. And I've actually watched that back with Cedric yesterday. I was deeply envious. I've got no idea who this leopard is. Please feel free to send in your answers, because I know you are all insanely good at IDing leopards. Someone actually ID'd a silhouette of some ears for me yesterday. Thank you very much. You know who you are. It didn't look like a big leopard. I'm gonna take a chance and roll forward and pull. There we are. These are perfect hunting conditions right now. You see how that grass is blowing? It's going to break up the body outline of this master or mistress of stealth. I cannot see what this cat is staring at. Rima, Tavangumi? I have no clue. If anyone would like to expand on Tavangumi, that would be fantastic. I have seen Tavangumi once up close to the gate, and we're currently on Galago, which is not a million miles away from the gate. Oh, look at the markings on this leopard. Thank you so much, everyone. We're having lots of shouts for Tavangumi because of that head structure and the spots. I trust you 100%. So I've only seen this boy once before, and what a stunner he is. Look at those shoulder blades. This boy has not finished what he is doing, but I'm going to proceed with extreme caution. I do not want to mess this up for this guy. He is still locked onto something. I'm not going to follow him. I'm just going to try and place us so we can see him. I don't want to disturb whatever it is he's focused on. Oh, look at this boy. What a beauty. Does look like he's relaxed a little bit. Hello, boy. Oh, just a little acknowledgement over the shoulder there. Kathy Lee, thank you so much. These rosettes are indeed pretty impressive, making this boy Tavangumi. Okay, it's changed direction again. It does look like he's relaxed now, so let me see. Okay, it looks like he's relaxed, so I am going to try and pick my way in here now. But I'm going to give him lots of space. Sorry, Uncle. I can still see him. Ooh, that's a very big log. He could disappear at any moment. Okay, I can see him. Just gonna Clara, everything develops a technique, but every leopard does have a similar style. Well, would you believe it? My car won't start. At all. Let me just try and maybe get hold of Cedric and see if he can come and follow up. on Tavangumi.
Welcome back to Pridelands. At the moment, we still at the dam. We had some elephants coming down to come and have a quick drink, but unfortunately they disappeared fairly quickly. But at the moment, we are busy looking at a woolly neck stork. And these birds, they are both migrants as well as resident species. So generally we refer to them as partial migrants. Unlike those other migratory groups of birds, which we refer to as palearctic migrants, which migrates all the way from North Africa, Europe and Asia. And then we also have another group, which is referred to as intra-Africa migrants, which migrate from areas directly north or south of the equator into southern Africa. We generally find that those birds that are partial migrants tend to actually stick into areas where the climate is good all year round, and Lowveld is one of those areas. There's another group of interesting behaviors that we also find when it does come to migration of birds, and those are birds that come from the central plateau, which is some 1,800 to 2,000 meters on average above sea level. And because it's cooler in the winter months in those areas, and frost is one of the driving forces that kills off plant life and insect life, those birds will then migrate to the Lowveld region of South Africa, where there's a far greater abundance of insects for them. We also see that there's another group which migrates from south to north, which is quite often forgotten about, and that's the majority of all our seabird species which come and visit our coast. We lastly also have a few other interesting behaviors when it does come to birds and their movements. One of those are called passage migrants. Those are birds that simply just pass through southern Africa but don't stop, and they're also mostly marine species. And then we also get another movement that is referred to as a dispersal. And dispersals generally take place when we have young birds which move away from the area where they were actually raised. And that prevents interbreeding from taking place within that specific area. But in general, if we do look at what defines a migration, it needs to be at a specific time of year. It needs to be on a specific route, and we also find that it is always repeated. So very important that it's always seasonable and repeated, and therefore it gets classified as a migration. Just to also relate to a question that was asked earlier on the show, the amount of the amount of ticks which oxpeckers can consume. As far as I know, there was a study of a research specimen that they took where they found over 1,660 ticks inside the stomach. So that's a lot of ticks that they can consume within a single go. Oh, blacksmith lapwing that has also just came in front of us. One of the birds that are more often actually shown on Wild Earth. Good afternoon and welcome to Eco Training Pridelands. It's quite a windy afternoon out here. However, we've had a lot of success with elephants, and we had several breeding as well as bachelor herds and a few individual elephants that made their way down towards the dam. We're going to stick around here for a little bit longer in the hope that we can find some more elephants. But meanwhile, we've also got some blacksmith lapwings that are running quite close by to us. I just love them, and there's a chick somewhere around here too. There's also a plumage pattern on the check. So if you ever wondered where the blacksmith lapwing gets its name from, it actually derives its name from a sound that it produces, which sounds similar to steel that's being forged on an anvil by a blacksmith. They're also quite cheeky little birds, and they're very quick to attack. And they've also got a special set of weapons in their favor to do that, launch that attack. And those are spurs at the tip of a wing. There's also another species of bird, which is known as a spur-winged goose in South Africa, which is actually technically a duck, as we don't have any geese in Southern Africa, which also has this very same spur at the tip of a wing. And they use it also as defensive weapons against both predators as well as individuals will use it as defensive weapons when it comes to fighting between males. There's a host of other little tricks that this black-sniffed lapwing also has, and one of it is exceptional good parenting, and they're very good with distracting predators away from a nest or from where the chicks are by simply pretending to have broken wings or a broken limb. And once they have moved away from the eggs of the nest where the chicks are, we'll then they will actually fly off again, and by that time the predator has normally lost interest. I've watched this several times over the years, and it's pretty interesting to watch them actually display. What I find particularly interesting is the cryptic colors of the eggs and how well hidden the eggs are, and these are often laid in between antelope droppings.
Well, this is quite sad. I don't have a plan. I've used my extensive mechanic skills, and I've used my Leatherman, and I've hit stuff. I've wobbled stuff. I kicked a tyre even. Let me just turn that radio down. I've turned it off and on. I took the key out and I blew on it. But Wendy, she is not happy. I was a little bit concerned about Wendy's state of mind when I left this afternoon. We did have a little bit of a splutter, but she seemed to pull through. So hopefully someone else is going to come and follow up on our beautiful leopard. I'm so glad we managed to show him to you though. But yeah, guess I'm going to sit here for a bit. Got a book. Maybe I'll do some reading. Got a stick. Got any coffee in Paul? No coffee. Guess I'll nice bit about jet propulsion in here. Joyce, the tree behind me. Which one? There's some combretums. There's a guarri. This is actually from the combretum. Actually, I'll show you these combretum pods, shall I? Why not? We can talk about the tree. Oh, Mama Radio. Let's do the tree. There's always something to see here. And Poe, watch for that leopard. He's gone. So, one of the key things about these combretums, there's lots of trees in this combretum family, is these beautiful four-winged pods. I once heard a story. I've heard a couple of stories. One of the stories is that if you ingest these inside of these pods, then you can die. And the other story is they cure hiccups. As a result of these conflicting pieces of information, I don't normally eat too many of the plants here. I once did a lot of research on, it's actually the sausage tree, Cagilia africana. It's got a substance in called gagilin. And I read in several sources that you could actually take the seeds out of those big sausage fruits, use them as a source of food if you fried them. And I think I read 4 or 5 sources, and I thought, right, I'm going to do that with my guests. So I got a sausage fruit, and difficult to cut up. I duly started cutting up the sausage fruit, and I thought, I'm just going to do one more bit of reading. And I found a source that said someone died after ingesting those. So there are lots of stories that we're taught in guiding school, that you can eat this and you can do this with this. But I've actually got I'm slightly leopard nervous. I've got a really nice book about the medicinal uses of plants. But this is the combretum. So also in this family, you've got your leadwoods. Who else? You've got your apiculatums, you've got your heroensis. And the key defining feature in this species of tree, in this tree or in this group of trees, is these 4-winged pods. And these really help with dispersal. So these will be dispersed. Sometimes animals, birds will eat them, and they will fly away with them. Poop. Or the other way is wind. And these winged pod. So let's wait for a nice gust of wind. Obviously there's no wind now. This is going so well today, isn't it? No, there's not even any wind. I'm going to throw this up and it's just going to fall down again. They're a bit dispersed by the wind. Into the car. Oh dear, oh dear. So yeah, this is one of the Combretons. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, so what, I'm going to throw this again, and then if we get Mpo and everyone else out there to blow when I throw this up, it will demonstrate wind dispersal. Are you ready, Mpo? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go! I'm going to send you back over to Cedric. Maybe Wendy will have had a little rest and start again. And I'm going to send you back over to Cedric with his buffalo story. I'm so frustrated.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, it looks like Kelly is definitely part of the tech team here at the moment. I think she's fixed the dam cam. She's trying to fix Wendy. And yeah, but anyway, we're going to try and head to that side as well. So we're actually busy following her tracks because unfortunately can't get hold of her. I think she's in a bad little area with signal. So we're busy doing tracking on Wendy tracks here. So this is a different kind of tracking. But let's see if we can locate her by seeing where her tire tracks end off. But as well, I'm very interested about the oxpeckers. 1,000 ticks were found in a oxpecker for one day's feeding. That is absolutely brilliant. That's amazing. I couldn't believe it. Thank you very much for that info. I would have never thought 1,000 ticks. That's a number of ticks. But of course, I will try and get back to my buffalo story. But my buffalo, yeah, I'm going to put a bit of a rain check on that one now because I have to act it out because that's the only way I can really now. I can see her tracks going here. Still got her tracks here. Sorry, we're just busy doing a Kelly Wendy tracking here. And see if we can try and locate them and end off finding Klamangumi as well. So yeah, there's a few things. And as I said, the buffalo story is it's a good story, but I have to act it out. So yeah, let's put a rain check on that one for just now. I'm not good about it. I'm definitely going to up onto that just now. But coming back to Kelly as Wendy, that is unfortunate. Oh well. It's the joys of the bush. We have to always learn ways of trying to... Sorry, I think the track's still going, yeah. I think the tracks are still going, yeah. I'm just trying to see where she is, exactly. Yeah, I think it's still going, yeah. Yeah, it's a different kind of tracking this. We shall find Kelly and Wendy and Mpo. All three of them, we shall make sure that they're all safe. Rescue. She's gone off, yeah. Up and down, yeah. Maybe smell Wendy. Smell oil somewhere. So I just got a quick update. I think Kelly's like a little Jack Russell. She's got a heart of a lion as well. I think she's trying to push her start Wendy now. Yeah. I'm going to see how far we get with this. I don't know where she is. And hopefully we still got her tracks here. Yeah. We should. That'll be funny. We actually sneak up onto Kelly while she's trying to push start Wendy. I think that would be absolutely, yeah, better than a lion dance. Definitely better than a lion dance. with him Paul busy steering. Anyway, the joys of the bush. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. But that's why we want to try and find Klamangumi as well. Try and see if we can relocate on that boy. It'll be very good. Have to see. Alright. got a tracks going here. I think it's all the way down towards Vuurtela access. Yeah. The track's going, yeah. I'm just trying to see if we can relocate on or find in there. I wonder, I'm just going to go around. Kelly.
Shortcut down the road. Link. Let's try and send another group.
Alright, copy. We had Gallagher shortcut towards Gallagher Pan.
Look for tracks. That's where Kevin Gummy was. Worry about him more than me.
Which way did he go?
Away on Gallagher shortcut. He walked east along the road past Gallagher Pan towards the Kruger Road.
Alright, copy. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to try and relocate on Lamangumi. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. I leave. How's it? Go closer. Yeah.
I've got elephant poop in my hands. Why wouldn't I have elephant poop in my hands?
Yes, yeah. That bad, eh?
No, this is a fake.
The mechanic Kelly and Paul. Yeah. There we go. See, so our tracking did work off. Unfortunately, as you can see, Kelly is a mess.
I wanted to talk about the elephant then.
Oh, am I interrupting? But anyway, we're gonna try and follow up on Klamangumi. As you can see, our poor Wendy. Okay, looks like I think Odie just wants to come through. I think our poor Kelly is just full of grease. Anyway, we're just going to give Kelly a quick hand here and try and also follow up on Klamangumi. Let's head back to JP. That's, of course, he's definitely in a better shape than Kelly.
Welcome back to Eco Training Prideheads. Land Rovers often do provide problems. We all have been there, so I do feel for Kelly. We've been watching a group of zebras that are just now moving off. There was a little bit of a conflict between them, and they were trying to kick and bite one another. And I wasn't 100% sure what was going on because I wanted to try and determine what was the composition of a group. And we quite often do see that males will fight with one another, and females also don't tend to always be very nice towards one another either, especially the more dominant females in the group. I've also been accompanied by a group of impalas at the moment. And these two species quite often associate, as quite often we mention, they associate for a few reasons. Safety in numbers, and especially on a windy day like today, is the main reason. But we also find that zebras have the ability to crop a lot of coarse grasses and make the finer grasses, which is more palatable, a little bit more accessible for the impalas with their smaller mouths. There's a question that I was asked a little bit earlier that I was asked to elaborate on, and the question was about the combretum species and what pollinates them. So when we do get to the combretums, they generally divide it into two main groups. One of those genuses are Terminalia, and the other genus is Combretum. And in general, we find with the terminalias, or cluster leaves as they're also known, is that their flowers don't smell very well. So it is believed that flies are one of the contributing pollinators when it does come to the species. However, with most of the combretums, they actually have very pleasant smelling flowers. And if I can think specifically about flame creeper, which is one of my favorite of the combretums, we also find that those little flowers are often visited by both wasps, bees, and a host of other insects which will contribute to the pollination. But I've also seen a number of sunbirds which are also associated with that. Quite often when it does come to sunbirds, they can potentially assist with pollination, but they're also quite often nectar thieves. And the reason why I say that is their bills are designed to probe into the flower, steal the nectar without actually getting the pollen on their faces. But when we also go to specific areas in South Africa, such as the Western Cape, we do find a high amount of sunbird species which is specifically adapted for pollinating specific plant species, and that's specifically in the fynbos biome that holds pretty true. But when it comes to pollination, and I actually think of pollinators which are really good when it comes to pollinating a wide range of different plants, there's actually species such as weavers, orioles, and also species such as, what else can I think of? Even dark-capped bulbul. When they go and feed on nectar, they actually get their whole face full of pollen. And when they fly off and they move to the next plant to go and feed on some more nectar, they actually do a far better job than the majority of sunbirds will do. I was watching those zebras. I didn't want to get too close to them because of the wind. They're also easily startled, and already there's some form of tension between the group. I'm also always scared when there's conflict between group individuals that they actually might push one another on top of a vehicle and injure themselves. I had a few years ago where an elephant almost pushed another elephant onto a vehicle next to me. Luckily, that vehicle, the guy that was next to me, managed to push his vehicle out there very quickly into reverse and just missed. So you always have to be careful when animals are running. Even impalas, I've watched them, especially now that the males are rutting. They're often so fast on their runs that they actually don't notice the other obstacles which is in their way, and quite often that obstacle can potentially be a vehicle. And in the lambing season, we also see that young impala lambs, after they're a few weeks old, they love chasing one another, and that's the way that they build up strength. But I've noticed that they're not so smart when it comes to objects. Good morning. Sorry, my apologies, Samantha. My brain is on coffee already, and that's why I'm thinking of morning. And to answer your question, Samantha, the lifespan of them is probably between 10 and 14 years. It just depends if it's actually a captive animal or if it's a wild specimen. And when we do look at animals that are in zoos or in captivity, they actually have less threats and they got food and they don't have to work so hard as if they would out here. So there's less chance that somebody is going to eat you, and therefore there's a much longer chance that you're going to actually live a little bit longer. So for Samantha, I can also share something with you, and that is one of the things is that this is one of my favorite antelopes when it does come to the lambing season, and I really hope that you can one day come and see when they're all giving birth around by the end of November. It's really a special time to be out here. But for now, let's go and see what the rest of the teams are up to.
hello to Djuma on the eventful afternoon so far. Of course, we're just sitting here. I'm just waiting for Klamangumi. I've got the, you can hear the monkeys, vivid monkeys are alarm calling in the drainage line here, close to where our lodge is, our camp is, and of course we just got at Galago Pan and got one male impala that's just really just taking notice. So I'm just sitting here and just listening out, and I'm also just going to look down in this drainage line if he does come past here. As you know, they do like the drainage lines quite a bit. Sounds like he might be going around on the other side. I'll double check on something here quickly. Because I definitely want to try and look at it. But on top of that, yes, Kelly is all good. Wendy is not good, of course, but Kelly is fine. So she is being assisted at this point in time. So it's all good, yeah. I'll take a Galago Pan. Galago. Those birds are calling quite far that side. I'm just taking a look if they're going to go around on this side. Okay, it's calling quite a bit now, yeah. I'll just keep an eye open. Hopefully he comes to the pan. I'm actually hoping he comes to this pan. And he comes into this open area. White man, good afternoon. I'm worried for impala and being close to the car in rutting season. No, not at all. They will chase each other around, but they know the vehicle's there. They won't do anything to the vehicle. Only bad thing is maybe, I mean, you never know, by accident impala runs from the other impala and it becomes submissive and it turns around to run away and maybe just not seeing the vehicle right there and trying to jump over the vehicle. But that's usually never the case. I think I've never had that in my experience. So, no, it's not a problem. I think it's perfectly safe for this impala ram being, or any impala ram being close by during their rutting season. Because they don't see us as an impala, so they don't see us as competition or anything like that. They just see us pretty much as a normal object that's around here. I think this... towards the pan, yeah. That's correct. I think I'm just in these these monkeys are going really, really crazy. So that leopard is very close now, coming towards the pan. I think he's coming straight. Here he comes. Maybe he's going to come in and have a nice drink for us. Hey, my boy. Here we go. Beautiful. Hey, fantastic. It looks like closest impala is to him as well. Look how close his impala is to himself. Of course, impala's not running because it's already noted. Leopard won't go for that. He's not really bothered. That element of surprise is going. Oh, beautiful. The last time I saw this male is when he wanted to come into my bedroom, into my room there in the western sector with Scotia, his mother. It was a couple of years ago. I was still having coffee outside, and he wanted to pretty much jump into my room. Oh, fantastic. Watching Pilot. Fantastic. Well, I'm so glad to get him. So glad. He's absolutely grown to a beautiful size. As I said, I haven't seen him since he left the western sector. And it was I think it was pretty much in 2020 when he wanted to come in through that area, which is... Such a beautiful boy. Thank you to the monkeys. Thank you to the monkeys. This shows you always have to use different ways of finding something, and you always got something to tell you. But yeah, once again, also thanks, Kelly. Well played. And Paul. Kelly and Paul also did very well locating him. I think Kelly and Paul must do a leopard dance for us. These dance-offs are getting worse and worse every minute. Sand marking quite a bit. So now you've got Klamangumi. Yes, good afternoon. Definitely, I think I was worried. I was actually not worried. I was wondering why he wasn't drinking water. I thought I was waiting for that beautiful shot where he was going to drink some water. But I think maybe he had us some water a little bit earlier, closer to our camp area. Maybe there was a bit of water there, so he's already had his little fill there. He is on a mission. He is definitely sand marking. But coming back to why, it's amazing how many young males are in this area. That is a very... It's going to be interesting times coming ahead. I mean, you've got Klamangumi, you've got Marips, you've got Tsemba, you've got Sasha. So you've got so many young male leopards in this area. And that is interesting times. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Mulawati. Definitely a lot of pressure on him. Especially when females like Langa starts going into heat. Now he's heading back, straight back again. Wow. He's going down that way. He wanted to go this way, and then he wanted to go that way. Then he wanted to go this way, and then he wanted to go that way. Yeah. So as I said, it's definitely interesting times with the young boys that's coming into age. I mean, Semba and the... So it's interesting that Tsemba and Klamangumi, both of them, they're getting to that age where they are looking for a void, an area that is suitable for them, that there's females around them. Marips is still a little bit young, so Marips is definitely not really into the count. Sasha is another one. Sasha is also at that age. So when they get to 3.5, even to 4 years old, then they start really looking out for an area for themselves. So it is so good to see him, but it's Mulawati needs to really be on his game now. But I think our director said no, he is an independent male, so he can do what he wants. That's so true. Samantha, I know you're 9 years old and you actually give me the question of how many leopards are. Fantastic. Nice question. Thank you very much for joining us on Wild Earth this afternoon. We've got 87 named leopards on a project called the Panthera program. There's 87 named leopards. That's named leopards, so that's in the Sabi Sands. Now that's excluding Timbavati, Manileti, other private reserves north of us, and of course the Kruger Park itself. That's not into account. But in the Sabi Sands, 87 named leopards, and on top of that as well, you must remember there's cubs without names. There's nomadic males, nomadic females coming through the areas and all that. So you must understand, if you look at the proper count, it might even get up to around about maybe over 100 leopards, maybe even more. But yeah, I know that's 87. That's the last count recently with the Panthera program that we got. But fantastic. Thank you very much for that question. It's always nice to know. But it's also very difficult to really put a number on leopards. You must remember they're very secretive, very elusive cats. So you might see a few of them here, but there's a lot of them here that you don't see. Think about Molawati. I mean, look how shy he is with vehicles and all that. So sometimes you get even shyer leopards that really do not want to be seen anywhere, and then all of a sudden you don't get them into count. So it just shows you can miss so many leopards on count around these areas. All right, he's going into that side. I think there is a till 2 track that goes around this side here. He's going into a very deep drainage line in the dip here. Deedle-doo, deedle-doo. I think he'll come out onto Mvubu. Still following on Klamangumi, the young male leopard. Still, he's going into a real dip now. He's going to be a very tough order this now to keep a visual on him here now. I'm just going to see what we can do and how we can keep him here, but it's going to be very, very tough at this point in time. I think we have to go all the way around. Just want to work out where we have to shoot around to, and if there is a place that we can shoot around to. And not that side. That's going to be a tough one. Yeah, no, this is going to be a little bit. This is a very big drainage line that's next to us here. Oh, shucks. So Mvubu Road is just there. I think Mvubu Road goes just that side. Yeah, there's the Mvubu Road is just on that side. So I'm going to take a look. If he does cross over, okay. Let's take a look. Just, oh no. No. Can I go past here, eh? I'm going around there. It looks like it, eh? Yeah, I think so. All right, we're not going to have him anytime soon now, because we'll have to go all the way out and try and catch up with him on the other side. There's no way he's crossing over that drainage line. Fantastic. So good to see that boy. So nice to see that male. Thank you, Kel. Thanks. We just lost Klamangumi. Just went into this drainage line here, just between Galagopan and Mvubu Road. He went in. There's no ways that we could have crossed there. So we're just going to quickly go through onto Mvubu area, Mvubu Road, see if we can relocate. It looks like he wants to head back north again. So let's try shoot off that side. Rock Candy, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Wild Earth. Do male leopards protect the cubs? Yes, they do protect the cubs, but they don't look after them like the way the females will look after the cubs. The males will, of course, will make sure that there's no other males coming into the territory and, of course, coming to kill their cubs, because it is their genes, it is their offspring, it's their genetics, and they will want to protect that gene pool, their gene pool. So if you want to see the protection, yeah, they do protect, but they will not look after. That's pretty much your female leopard's or the mother's responsibility. The male just now and again he'll come through, bump into the females like you've seen recently with Lalamba and the two cubs. You saw Malawati there. Sometimes it happens that way, and all of a sudden just making sure that the relationship is still strong, cubs are still good, and he'll move off again. So yeah, not really the real protection way, but protecting his territory. All right, Leon on Mvubu Road. Let's hope he comes this side. Yes, every leopard comes from a strong mother leopard. All mother leopards are strong. I think so. Oh, fantastic! I think female leopards are brilliant. I think all female leopards are brilliant. Eh? So do leopards? Sorry, FC, can you just quickly run that question for me again, if you don't mind, please? Ian Timothy, good afternoon. Yeah, do rosettes start fading away with time and age? They don't really fade away. They just become more kind of scraggly. You'll find that the coat becomes not that smooth anymore. They'll start becoming a little bit rough around the edges. But the rosette itself, they do not change. There's a saying, a leopard never changes its spots. Or you should actually say, a leopard never changes its rosettes. And that is a very true case. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if it's there, it should be coming through. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to quickly find out on a direction here. And yeah, so no, they don't, but of course the coat does lose condition, of course. You can imagine, they'll become a little bit whitish, greyish in a way, but not like a way of us just noticing it. You can notice if you put a young female or female in prime, and for instance like Tundi, I mean, you saw Tundi's ears and all that as well. The older you get, it's just, I mean, it's wear and tear. Anyway, let's, I'm going to try and follow up on Lalamba, see if I can relocate. Let's head to Kelly. Well, she's got some tech help with her.
So I just wanted to have a little chat with you about this elephant dung. This elephant dung, you can see the digestive system of this elephant is not great. There's lots of bits of stick in here. It's going to try and jumpstart this car while I'm sitting on the bonnet. Lots of bits of stick, not particularly well broken down. Elephants do have a very varied diet. In the summer they do utilize a lot of grass in their diet, but obviously as the seasons change, they will start to utilize more bark from the trees. They only digest around about 30% of what they eat, so this is very coarsely digested. Whereas your ruminants, your other antelope species impala, they've got a much more effective digestive system, and you often find it's broken down into a very fine powder, especially things like scrub hairs. They will actually re-eat their dung, and after they've pooped it, they will they will re-eat that dung again. How's it going there, Marcel? Yeah? You're looking good. I'll just carry on with the elephant thing. Okay, no, that's cool. I can go all day. about 30%. Obviously, we're in the summer when we see lots of marulas. You will often find marula fruit in the elephant dung. Often they come out whole. Elephants do eat a lot of acacia as well, and often you find if seeds are eaten and the digestive juices of the elephant actually break down those seed casings, those acacias, they're not called acacias anymore. Those trees are actually more able to germinate, more likely to germinate. Nature's gardeners, and then of course they get their own little dung ball, which acts like perfect compost. Yeah, Wendy's still not looking on her best form. We are working on this problem. I am so incredibly happy you managed to find Tavungumi. It's very painful having to watch an elephant having to watch a leopard walk away from you like that. I'm going to send you over to JP now to have a look at a log that an elephant could have pushed down.
Welcome back to Pridelands. At the moment, yes, I am sitting on a log that has been broken off by an elephant, and it's actually a marula tree which has been broken down. And we can also see right over here that Warthog was actually using it as a rubbing post. So if you're wondering what we're actually doing, we actually decided to have a quick leg stretch, a cup of coffee, seeing that it's incredibly cold today over here in the Lowveld. Yesterday, we were actually running between 2 to 3 liters of water each, as it was incredibly warm. But we also like to stop at this little pan over here, which you can see. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this pan and elephants. And you can actually see that there's some reddish-brown elephant dung that's all scattered about there. And you can also see where large elephant feet have made impressions in the soil. And what happened over here several years ago is that it was muddy and rainy, and the soil was so waterlogged that elephants came through here, and where they stepped, their footprint created a little impression, and that filled up with more water. And very soon, warthogs actually came past there, and they started rolling into that single footprint and enlarged that little area into a wallow. Soon it became big enough that species such as buffalo as well as rhinos could start utilizing it. Eventually, elephants also will start using this as a point where they can come and wallow. So more and more soil has actually been carried away, and it led to the formation of a deep pan. And some areas I've actually seen pans that are actually some 100 meters in length, and they also quite often fill up with a large amount of water during the summer months. Sometimes zoos will then become home to species such as hippo, but they're also very important to the smaller components of the ecosystem, and especially frogs, as well as species such as dragonflies and water scorpions, which is actually a species of insect which will also use these for breeding sites. But now this pan is now dried up, and from here animals are now forced to go to main water holes. And that's one of the things that I do like about little pans, which are natural pans, is it now forces animals to go elsewhere, and it gives that area a little bit of a break. But when it comes to winter again, we see that those pans or central water points often get utilized very heavily. And when they get very heavily used, we find that quite often it helps to actually have artificial water points to move animals away from there again to prevent trampling and overgrazing. Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. We decided to quickly take a short little break and a leg stretch and have a cup of coffee in a very cold April afternoon here in the Lowveld. It's starting to slowly become winter, and if you are planning to come and visit us in this area, I do advise that you bring yourself some layers to wear in the later part of the evening as well as in early parts of the morning. But from 8:30 in the mornings, it's already again blistering hot. But this weekend, we're going to have a cold spell that hits us, and hopefully a little bit more rain, which can fill up little pans like the one that's in front of us. And if you're a safari diehard and you do love coming to the Kruger or visiting a number of different game reserves throughout South Africa, there's a few essentials that you can definitely pack, which I can recommend. And those also include your binoculars, a nice camera, and then also a hat, enough sunblock, water, cold drinks, a few other essentials which we won't refer to at this moment. But then also very important is also a good number of books and reference books which you can pack. And there's a number of really good bird books as well as mammal books which you can take along, which will really enhance your whole experience. But if you would like to have ultimate experience in nature, it's always great to actually make use of a trained guide, which will tell you a little bit more about that environment, other than the things that you can only read up in books.
Welcome back. I'm still trying to follow up on Klamagumi. He's still, I don't pick up on any of his tracks, so I think he's still in the drainage line. I think he's still coming north up this drainage line towards Biffles cut line. But yes, of course, we did a little bit of a cam up change. So I've got Paul behind the cam, and I think he really wanted to stick with this leopard. And of course, Odie, he really wanted to fix the car. Anyway, and so hopefully Odie gets that right. It'll be fantastic. Unless Odie wants to push Kelly back to the camp, I think that's a good idea. I think I should actually let that happen. I should get hold of them quickly. I think he'll hate me. Anyway, so of course, Paul is definitely joining me for the rest of the drive. So but the whole point is here now is that we're going to try and see if we can relocate on this boy. I really want to get hold of him again, but he is on a mission. He is on a real mission. He was sent marking all over the show, which is quite a huge sign already of him really wants to kind of push into this area. We can understand if he's send marking and scraping his head and spraying on bushes around here, then you know that he's in a mood on taking over this territory, which is of course Molawati's territory. So that would be a little bit of a problem, but I think Molawati has to really show face before he actually falls behind on marking his own territory. But of course, what happens, Molawati will pick up on his scent and very quickly will decide to try and find this young male that's been, coming into his area. Okay, so we're coming to Biffles cut line. I think we've got a nice little point here, but I think if he has to move further, I'm just trying to figure out, maybe we've got a little bit on here, go a little bit down into the dip. I don't think he'll be too far from the side because leopards, they move very, very quickly, and especially if they're on the mission, Oh, it's cool. Beautiful. So it's a stunning bird. Stunning bird. I love a Birchall's cuckoo. Also known as a rainbird. So when they do start calling, they're really kind of a little bit of an indicator. And the rain is coming. It's like that real very, very stunning noise to them. A Birchall's cuckoo. And nice to see them so open. They're usually always in the thick and like a shrubbery. They're always really staying low.
Okay, copy. You say the next one working. He's lost visual. I think he went down into the drainage line somewhere around Gallagher.
I think these, and especially with those beautiful black heads, almost looks like a superhero with that. Sometimes they've got those masks on. Very much also eating all the little insects around. And I've seen them also, they dive. They actually dive bomb sometimes the bushes, so sometimes it's a real thick bush, and there might be something inside there. That I've seen it before, where they actually like dive bomb inside there to get to something. See what's him like creeping. Really special birds. Rabbit Girl, good afternoon, or good morning, or good afternoon. Welcome to our Sunset Drive. Where do these Birchall's cuckoos nest? I think they nest pretty much in the deep shrubbery, if I'm not mistaken. I can always find out. Sorry, I'm not too sure where the Birchall's cuckoo's nest. Now you've caught me really by surprise here. Damn. I think maybe Paul's got an answer to that.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I'll get back to you with that one. Rabbit Girl, yeah, I think that's I think he stumped me there, middle stump. Boom. Sure, what was I trying to think now? I'm sure it's in the shrubs. I'm sure it's like in the low shrubbery areas that they do nest. In the grass. Sometimes I think it's actually in the grass. So there's sometimes like between thick grass like this now, where you've got this real long turpentine grass. I think sometimes they actually have their nest at the lower areas of the grasses, so really closer to the roots or to the ground itself. I'll definitely find out. I know they've got a very specific nesting areas, and I think that's could be it. I think that's more in the reeds, in the grass reeds, and very low to the ground. But yeah, I will definitely get back to you. I'll definitely try and look that up. So I think they definitely rely. It sounds like they definitely have build their nests pretty much out of grass and leaves. And I see, definitely in the dense vegetation, low in the thick reeds, thick grasses, those areas. I think so the females will also lay between 2 to 5 eggs. So that's 2 to 5 eggs, and it's not. The incubation is very short with the eggs itself. So you're looking around about maybe 15 days of incubation. And it's just the male that incubates or does the most of the incubation of those eggs, and also the feeding of the young itself. So the male is very busy with of course, looking after those chicks of the Birchall's cuckoo. The Birchall's cuckoo is also very much endemic to South Africa, and also found in a bit of the high veld to low veld area. Of course, you can see. Sorry, go with that. Sorry, just broke up there again. If you go with the message again, or the question. That's the only kukul that we find in South Africa. No, we also get pretty much now, we get two different kukuls in South Africa. You also get now one called the black kukul. So the black kukul is, you don't really get them in this area. The black kukul you get more in the very, very specific areas in like the Kruger National Park area. So it's just the two kukuls, the Birchall's kukul and the black kukul. I haven't seen a black kukul, that's still one thing on my list. Your Birchall's kukul is more of the common one. Your uncommon one is your black kukul. And I think they're extremely rare and erratic vagrants to the park. So most likely to be seen in, like, I can say, swampy areas, long grass areas. That's where you'll see your black kukul. So much more like you have to really go to those swampy areas in the Kruger National Park. And I think there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's maybe 3 or 4 locations in the Kruger that they have been seen. But I haven't seen the black kukul yet. That's one of the kukuls I would definitely love to see. It's such a very pretty, with a very black, with a bit of that kind of a bronzy color to it. But the Birchall's is definitely our most common one around here. All right, so a cuckoo is very much, a cuckoo is, all right, there's the difference between a cuckoo and a kukul. Okay, a kukul is, they don't migrate like the cuckoo. The cuckoo migrates, also the cuckoo is the one that does parasitism on other host birds, where the kukul is not a host parasitism bird. But I'll just quickly show, okay, wait, I just want to quickly get the cuckoos here, and then I'll show you now, and I'll show you the kukul, and we can get the two different ones here, and we can just exactly know the difference between the two. Okay, let's get the cuckoos here. Okay, so now the kukul, so it's a C-O-U-C-A-L. I want to see how far, is it right there? The kukul. Okay, so that's a black kukul and the Birchall's kukul. So this is how the kukuls, just like that ones you see there, look like this. Birchall's and the black kukul. So C-O-U-C-A-L, kukul. So not a cuckoo. Cuckoo is pretty much, I'll go here. These are the cuckoos. So you get like the striped cuckoo, C-U-C-K-O-O. You get the greated spotted cuckoo, the Jacquemin cuckoo. Of course, the striped cuckoo is known as a Valence cuckoo. And of course, the black cuckoo. There's a whole lot of different cuckoos that you get. And these are all migrants. They all migrate. In our winter time, they'll head, of course, to north of the equator. Where your kukuls, black kukul, and Birchall's kukul is very much, they remain in this area. So the kukul, these ones here. Now, I was saying with the kukul, with the black kukul as well, this is the Kruger Park. You'll see where you find them around these swampy areas. You'll just see on the right there. So it's a 1, 2, 3 little spots that you really find them more on the swampy areas. All right, so the cuckoo and the kukul, very different. They are both insectivorous, so yes, they both eat insects, but your cuckoo are very much migrants. And it'll be very interesting to see if a kukul, if a kukul was a host parasitism bird. I can imagine those chicks would be like that big. And the host usually will be about half the size, and that would be very funny to see a host bird actually feeding on a kukul. All right, I think very. I think cuckoos and cuckoos are. I think if the person doesn't know the real spelling of a cuckoo or cuckoo, I'm even confusing myself. I'm going a bit cuckoos here. Anyway, I think if you don't know the spelling of a cuckoo or cuckoo, then it does sound very much alike. All right, well, okay. I thought maybe that Samangumi would have popped out here, but clearly he decided not to show face. So let's head out from there. Let's go look around and maybe turn around up further that side and come back again and double check. Ooh, okay, now this road looks very touch and go. Beautiful. The day is actually turning out very nice. I mean, the weather is not so bad at all. Very nice and pleasant around you today. It's wunderbar. Magnifique. Right there.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment we are looking at a purple pod cluster leaf, also known as a low-felt cluster leaf. And a little bit earlier we were discussing the differences between combretums as well as terminalias. And when we do come to the differences, we'll always see with a genus called Terminalia, as that the leaves are clustered at the tip. And when we do get to the seed pods, here you'll notice that the seed pods are actually flat and has two distinct wings. Unlike that of the bush willow, which I'm just going to point out to you over here, which has a four-wing pod. And that's some of the most easiest way to separate these two from one another. When it does come to the two different species of terminalias, which we do have in the area, we get the purple pod terminalia and then also the silver cast leaf that we have over here. I just broke a little branch off a little bit earlier from one of the other plants to show you, and they too have a flat two-wing pod. But one of the things that they do share in terms of interesting fact about combretums, and this is both for terminalias as well as for the combretums, is that they will actually release chemicals into the air which will warn other plants of the same species that are being browsed. Fancy name for that is called jasmination, and in response to that, chemicals that those plants will detect, they will also push up their tannin levels. And therefore the plant species, the terminalia plants in that area, will therefore force the animals to go and feed somewhere else. There's a few interesting cultural uses for the Terminalia prunioides, or purple pod cluster leaf, and you can actually break off the twigs and you actually can chew them and you can swallow that juice to actually treat a sore throat. Very similar to buffalo thorn, where you can chew the leaves and then swallow the juice to help with the sore throat. And because of the wood of most combretum species being incredibly hard and resilient, it's quite heavy and it's also very strong, and therefore it's used often for making tool handles. But something else which we also noticed right over here, as that we stopped at our purple pod cluster leaf, is actually a community spider web nest. And these are actually very large sociable groups of spiders, and we find that sometimes there is up to a few hundred individual spiders in a community like this. And one of their strategies is simply to send out enough spiders to go and grab the prey that gets stuck in the web, and then they will pull that back inside and share the food that they've captured. Sorry, I was just in a process of deep thought there and something what I wanted to say. If I might just quickly ask if you can repeat that question for me, please. Good afternoon, Morgana, and welcome to the show. When it does come to the name purple pod cluster leaf, it's only the pods which actually turns a red purple color. Eventually they will turn brown and fall down onto the ground. There's a few interesting things with many of the Combretum species is that quite a few of those with the four-wing cluster pods are often used for making tea. There's something else that came to my mind. However, they say with Combretum, such as a redbush willow, as what I have over here, you should always make sure that you take the seeds out, as this can lead towards severe hiccups or potential poisoning. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything that we can think about Combretums at the moment. We're going to start moving on and see what else we can go and find.
Welcome back to Djuma. Just want to update you quickly. Klamangumi definitely did not relocate there. I think he might have been in that drainage, very, very deep drainage area that side, so we did lose him. I wasn't going to try and get in there. There's no way he's getting in there, put it that way. But on top of that, a good old story with old Klamangumi and Scotia. I was actually telling you about even coming into my room. So it was about 2 years ago. That was about just over 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago. He actually, one morning I was having a cup of coffee around about 6:30 in the morning, having a cup of coffee outside my room. I was in the western Sabi Sands at that time, having a cup of coffee just about 3-4 meters from my door, the entrance of my door. And all of a sudden, I hear this alarm calling of the Nialas, and I'm sitting and having a cup of coffee and hearing the Nialas at the back of the room. I'm like, I didn't think much of it. And next moment I'm still having my cup, and I look at the corner of my eye. Yeah, I've got Scotia, the mother of Klamangumi. He's busy looking like around the corner, these big eyes looking at me like about 3-4 meters from me. And on top of that, there's Klamangumi looking on top of her. And of course, they looked at me and I got such a fright. I mean, the way she was looking at me, I thought she wanted to pounce on me. And I left my cup of coffee. I took like one step. I was like 3-4 meters from my door. I took like one step and I was in my room. As I got in my room, I thought, okay, well, I'm sure they're not going to follow. So I turned around to look where they were. And next moment, Scotia went past my door and Klamangumi wanted to come in. So I went onto my first step to come into the room. I just closed the, I can say, the fly screen door in front of his face. And he just like stood at the door looking at me, and I held it there. I'm like, ah! And I took a video of it as well, with Scotia moving away and calling Klamangumi, and off they went down the pathway. And of course I could get back to my so lukewarm cup of coffee that was left outside. So yeah, I had a good old encounter with Klamangumi. Very fascinating young boy that, but yeah, very, very interesting youngster that. So I'm just going to quickly get on the radio. Just somebody is calling me. So I want to update on Klamangumi. Standing by. Cedric standing by for you.
Did you guys check Gallagher shortcut link?
Negative. We didn't take a look. It came from that side. Yeah, we lost him about maybe 100 meters north of Gallagher Pan in that drainage line heading north. Sorry about that. Just trying to keep the guys updated on exactly Klamangumi and what's the best way to relocate on him. But as I say, it's very difficult in that little area. But yeah, very good. I'm very happy to see him. I haven't, as I said, I haven't seen him since I've been here in the northern Sabi Sands. Wunderbar to get to see him around that side. Oh. Sorry, well, Rusty doesn't want to work here. And I don't take a look here. Sorry, I just got like stripes on the road. So I thought maybe something, but it looks exactly the same. I think somebody pushed their foot. There's no elephant tracks on there, so it doesn't look like an elephant. Sometimes you'll find elephants will actually grab sand like that and then, of course, chuck themselves, especially on hot days. But I don't see any elephant tracks. So clearly not an elephant there. Nothing. But I'm really interested. Hopefully we can find some lions. Maybe some lions tonight would be very good. Actually, I'm actually mistaken. I think I see elephant tracks here. Sorry. I think it might be elephants. I'm actually up. Anyway, I really want to see some lions tonight. It'll be fantastic if they can just come across or maybe bump into them. Maybe they might be around somewhere. I haven't seen any tracks further on the western sector or the eastern side of Djuma. But I'll look around, yeah. June, good afternoon. Welcome to Wild Earth. Thank you very much for the question. What is my favorite animal to track? I love tracking leopards. I'll just put it out there straight. I love tracking leopards. I think, to me, tracking a leopard, because it's a single cat, and sometimes to me it's why I like tracking them is just that beautiful feeling when you do find them. I get it. I still get like this real warm feeling as soon as I find that leopard. It's amazing, and I always do love tracking leopards. And sometimes what's even nicer to track leopards if they do make a kill somewhere and they're dragging a carcass, and you got this drag mark across the road, and you got the track all over to find that. Huh? It's bad for you, Jan. Go. I'm trying to see what there. But look at that beautiful, that sun, just the sun rays that's coming through those clouds at the moment there towards the Drakensberg. Really, really stunning. I think if it stays like that and you get a sunset tonight, it is going to be really pretty. Well, and then again, every sunset is pretty. So it's not just the one. And what's nice, if you actually, in the bush, you sit like this, still, actually. The bush talks to you with this wind. Go.
Yes, I think I'm going to go back to the east. I think checking out early tomorrow morning if I've got time to go back there.
Come back, we've got human tripods, not normal tripods.
They said they have a monopod at Bengala. Still waiting for it. Bed flies off. There's a bed over there. I don't know if it's a mud patch, right? It is.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you very much. I'm sitting too low to see it. Welcome back to Eco Training Prudence. At the moment, we were quickly looking at a magpie shrike, but unfortunately it just flew off. We also just would like to apologize that we've also lost, there's our shrike is flying back again, both our feeds. And quite often when we are operating in remote areas, we do often move into drainage lines and areas where signal is not always so great. And unlike in a city, we do have our challenges. Coming back on our magpie shrike that we see over there, it's one of the social species of shrikes which we have over here. And quite often they form fairly large groups. And one of the interesting things that I do find about them is that they're actually cooperative breeders, where you'll find that there's a number of birds in a group. Well, only the most dominant pair within the group will be responsible for breeding. And what they will then do is simply assist with raising the chicks. While these birds can raise their young on their own, we also find that there's some cooperative breeders which is totally dependent on the help of the other birds for raising the young. And one of those species is actually southern ground hornbill, which is also one of our most endangered large bird species, which we find in this area. And very recently, we've been fortunate in actually having them around for quite a bit. Good evening, Lucille, and welcome to the show. And if BK does find a bird and the bird sticks around for long enough, he does get really good shots of them. I was actually amazed what he has done with insects as well. We quite often do have a little bit of a challenge when it does come to birds, and they don't tend to sit still. And the moment that you do want to go onto live, they actually fly off. So generally what I always do is I make sure that I've got a backup content to discuss in the case. But in this case, I haven't seen anything else which we can discuss other than our magpie shrikes. It seems that they're now all moved off into a tree directly in front of us. I'm just going to go a little bit closer and see if we can get a little bit of a better view. Or BK, are you good? No. Generally, when it comes to something like magpie means black and white in colored. And one of the older names for these birds that they used to use up to a few years ago is actually a long-tailed shrike. And both of these names are actually very descriptive of this species. Our bird is now unfortunately flown right out of our sight. I'm just going to see if I can reverse it a little bit and get a better view of him. It also seems that we've got some hornbills as our magpie shrike has now flown off. It seems that there's quite a few hornbills in this marula that we have in front of us. Let's quickly have a look at what they're up to. There's actually a host of different bird species in this tree, and the majority of them is all hornbills. And then to the left-hand side, we've actually got one of the glossy starlings. It's most likely either a Cape or a greater blue-eared starling. But with poor light conditions, it's very difficult to separate these two similar-looking birds. But let's see what our hornbills are up to. If we do have a closer look and we look at the leaves, a lot of the leaves seems to have been eaten on. And it's most likely been caterpillars that is busy going into this tree. And what we'll find is that the hornbills will then simply focus on those caterpillars. When it does come to caterpillars in trees, it's not actually totally a harmful it's not harmful for the tree in all aspects. And what we do find is that sometimes the waste product that these caterpillars will produce in large mass will then drop to the ground, and that will be washed back into the soil with the next rains, and then absorbed by the roots of a plant, and that will just give it another spur of growth. A closer inspection, it actually looks like a false marula we're having a look at. Well, we're going to move on, as that our birds seem to be all over the place, but let's go and see what Cedric is up to.
you are going to hear quite a bit of a lot of wind in my mic at the moment. It is very windy. We're getting a wind that's coming from the south, coming north, and we're driving straight into the wind. So it is a little bit windy at the moment. But I am going to head towards Chitwa side. Apparently, I heard that someone had just spotted Lunga that side. So I'm just holding thumbs that we can get there and view the beautiful girl, or Lunga, the female leopard. So yeah, that's my plan of action. But I think I'm hoping that they keep visual of her and at a stage where we can view her. But boy, oh boy, I tell you, it's a very windy day. It feels like I'm going like 300 kilometers an hour. I'm not even going like 10. But it's just the wind that's blowing so much. But I'm glad old JP is having a good birding day. It's crazy that the birds are so plentiful today on a windy day. I mean, there goes my theory out the window. There's so many of my theories that go out of the window as well. But then one of them as well, the other time I thought to myself, you know, on very dry times, I always believe, like in winter times, that the elephants usually go for these trees, the Cambian lake, because there's not much food, not much grass, not much leaves around. And really dry times, dry seasons. And last year, or the previous year, was quite a wet season, quite a wet summer. A lot of rain. We did have a lot of rain and all that. And there was still a lot of water around. And funny enough, the elephants went for the marula trees, more so for the marula trees, the Cambian layers of the marula trees during that time. So we actually lost more trees on a very wet season, well, very wet year, compared to, oh yes, I'm almost going, a very wet year compared to a normal dry season. So yeah, that's another theory that's gone. So it just shows you, it's nature, you can never write and rock, and you never can say how it is going to be. Sorry, this road is quite bumpy at the moment. It's very shaky. But we are getting there. We are getting there. I always think these roads with the corrugations is a good. Oh shucks, here we go off again. Jesus, it looks like I've had one too many drinks or something. But there's so many corrugations on this road, it feels like I'm having a good old African massage here. Very nice, just like lean back and it feels good. One too many. But the sand is very thick and the wind is just howling. Wow. Wow. I'm almost at Gowrie Main Junction. As we still carry on making our way towards Lunga, towards Chitwa, please, everybody, you know where to send your questions, your comments. Of course, hashtag Wild Earth on Twitter. If you want to go onto the website, just go to wildearth.tv, go onto our channel page and make sure you register so you can have live and interactive comments and questions with us. And of course, all the younger generations, everybody under the age of 18, you know, just pop us an email at kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Please keep them coming. Keep us on our toes for the afternoon. If you want to know something about me, you can go ahead. If you want to know something about Paul, I'm sure Paul will go ahead. If you want to know anything about Sabi Sands, please let us know. We'll try and answer it for you. Truthfully, I'm hoping. I'm sure we will. Alright, we're on Gowrie Main now, away from that wind. Alright, so it sounds like in Johannesburg itself at the moment there is a huge storm that side. Apparently it sounds like there's a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning around in the Gauteng area around Johannesburg. So I'm hoping that it doesn't affect our signal. So far so good. That's right. You know, all our directors at Final Control, everybody sits in Johannesburg, and that's pretty much where our feed goes to. So, and that feed goes to everybody out there, to all the platforms, so you can view us live and interactive on our drives. So I'm hoping that the storm is not going to be too bad. Well, it does sound bad, but I'm hoping it doesn't drop any signals or anything like that. Thomas, good afternoon. 6 years old and you want to know about radio? It's fantastic. Where do I learn to speak on a radio? There is a code of conduct, meaning there is procedures, a piece of paper that we do get on how to speak on the radio and what to say and when to say it. And so there is a certain method to this madness. And yeah, it just comes over time. A lot of people, once you start doing it, it actually becomes like nervous, like you know, you don't want to speak on it. You like, you know, you say the wrong things and the wrong things come out and whatever. But once you get used to it, once it almost becomes like second nature. It's like saying on your cell phone, good morning or hello, you know, same thing. So there's a certain procedure to do it. But there's always, I can say, there's always people that just go past those rules or the code of conduct on how to use it, and unfortunately, we always have to say, hey, we have to use it in this manner, this way, and just a respectable way. So you can't go tell the soccer scores or rugby scores and cricket scores on the radio while we're on the game drive. It's not going to be a good thing. Nia, age 6, teach you something to say on the radio. All right, so if somebody like now has found, for instance, Langa, so Langa now is on Chitwa. So what we do is you can say station. So this is a station. So you can say station on lock. On lock means on the sighting. So station on lock with Langa. Can I please take a standby? So in other words, can I please fall in a standby to go to that sighting? So station, can I please station on lock? Can I please take a standby for Langa? So you can say that. So station, so station, can I please take a standby for Langa? Or you can say station, can I booyah shush? If you can say that, booyah shush, that'll be fantastic. Otherwise, can I come now? So, station, can I booyah shush? Of course, I'm not saying it now. Well, maybe I did say it. Oops. But yeah, so you can always say it. But shush is a Shangaan word in the area. It's always like now, means now. So it's like, booyah shush, come now, booyah shush. So yeah, so that's what you can always say on the radio. But other than that, well, you can say Klamagumi. Like, our stations have got one Madoda Ingwe. So Madoda Ingwe, Madoda means male, Ingwe is leopard. Ingwe, Mobile North. Dogman Lover wants to know, what is your favorite animal to film in the bush?
The elephants.
I like it.
Elephants.
He's got a nice one there. He likes, of course, and Paul loves to film elephants. I think it's a... I think he was going to say me. No, he definitely likes, I don't think he wants to film me all day. I think he's like, I don't know this guy going. I'm just joking. Yeah, definitely elephants. I think, Paul, I agree with you there. It's a nice thing to sit with and actually enjoy. It's a lot of interaction that side. And elephants always got action. There's always action that side. All right. Well, anyway, before that, I do want to quickly on to that sighting as well. I was telling you about that sighting of the radio. So let me quickly do that. So at least I can fall into that standby or line up Lunga if they still have a station on lock with Lunga.
I'm just taking into the lock. I've not got there yet.
Okay, copy. I just want to find out, is there any standbys for that lock?
I'm not actually sure yet. There's one station on lock.
Sorry guys, you're talking over each other. Go, sorry, standby one that's controlling. Go with that lineup, please.
Yeah, for just think that I will stand by behind you. I don't know if there are any changes. Always ready to join. Elliot, you want to stand by? Okay, copy that, thanks.
All right, Elliot, can I take a second standby behind you, please, for Lunga?
Confirm station.
Cedric from Wild Earth.
Okay, copy. Yeah, I can read that number 2.
All right, confirm the lock, please. Okay, I'll go. I thought it was in Chitwa. Copy. Alright, sorry about that. I was just trying to see what happened in Lunga and all that. So let's head off to JP and see what he's got on his menu.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment, we are looking at a plant that's referred to as Asclepia. There's a number of different names for them, and one of those names are milkweed. And then also some of the Afrikaans names are tontelbos, as well as Oman's bulb. So when you do look at it and you break these open, there's fine little hairs inside there. And that cotton-like substance was often used as tinder, and that is why it's called a tontelbos. And that was used in the making of the olden days for fire before the days that actually had proper matches as well as lighters. But what I do find particularly interesting about Asclepias is that all of them has got a milky white latex, and all of them are toxic. And what I also find particularly interesting is that there's a specific species of butterfly that loves associating with Asclepias. And the one that we often find of this is the African monarch butterfly. I've recently been corrected, and I've been told that it's an African plain tiger, but I still prefer the name African monarch as much more beautiful and much more descriptive. Very similar in appearance to American monarchs. However, our African monarchs are resident, unlike the American monarchs, which actually migrates big distances of some 3,000 kilometers. Now, when it comes to the African monarch, they actually utilize this plant as a larval food for their caterpillars. So they lay the eggs in there, the eggs hatch, and then the caterpillar starts feeding on the plant. And what they do get out of this plant is cardioglycosides, if I remember correctly, which is a toxin that is derived from there. And then that gets carried over to adulthood. And then what we find next, sorry guys, I'm just going to need to move. I've got an elephant that's moving straight towards us. Let's move to the back for me, please. So I'll tell you that story about the Asclepias now. Just move me to the back. The wind is in our favor, so all is good. So he's not smelling us yet. Just move me to the vehicle. Move straight to the vehicle. Hello. I just wanted to make him aware that we are here, in case that he did want to proceed. But for first, I didn't want him to know where we are. No, it's all good. We're going to get onto the vehicle now. We're just a few more meters and all is good. He just wanted to make sure that he knows that we are here, so that he doesn't come and smell where we are. Our elephant is now walking on the opposite side of the dam. He's very well aware of us. And it's rather better sometimes to just let the animal know that you are present than trying to hide. Because if they do detect you in the last moment, that's when they're going to get startled. So elephant is now moving off. And when you did see him moving off, you probably noticed that his tail was straight and he was walking to the side of us, which is quite often a sign that they're feeling a little bit intimidated by your presence and that they're not happy with you. But for him, I'm very happy that he's rather moving off rather than a cranky elephant that is trying to make a more concerted effort of giving you a hard time. All that he wants to go and do is wants to go and have a drink. And we were very close to the edge of a water where we were discussing a plant. And that's why it's so important for us to actually have backups. And our backup was doing her work exceptionally well this afternoon by spotting that elephant while both BK and I was looking down at the Asclepias. While our elephant is walking away, those Asclepias, we mentioned that they have cardioglycosides, and those cardioglycosides get carried over from the caterpillar to the adult form of African monarch. And those butterflies, therefore, are incredibly toxic, and therefore nothing will really feed on them. And that just pretty much wraps up our Asclepia. There's a few other interesting facts that I can also tell you, is that we're now losing our elephant, and that Asclepius was actually the son of Apollo. And because he had the ability to heal and to resurrect, that is why he was given the honor of the plant being named after that plant genus, because quite a few of those Asclepias actually have medicinal qualities. Our elephant has now moved on to the opposite side of the dam, and it's actually a wise choice of where he's going to go and drink, because the wind is now blowing straight towards us, which means that there's no algal growth or algal mats forming on that side of the dam compared to on this side where the wind is actually blowing the algae to our side of the dam. And that means instant clean water, and he doesn't have to swoosh around there and attempt to clear the edge of the water before he starts drinking. Elephants just love clean water, and they will go great lengths for clean water, which includes lifting up drain coverts, which also includes breaking JoJo tanks, pushing over water towers, stepping on steel pipes to break them so that they can actually get to the fresh water inside. And I can remember we had a reservoir that had several thousand liters of water, and it was a cement reservoir. So generally quite safe. You don't have a problem with elephants breaking them, but it figured out that it can break the bottom of those steel pipes, and we lost all the water for the lodge. And they tried to repump and couldn't understand what was going on because the water wasn't fed into the camps. And then they discovered that the elephant broke that pipe. One of the tricks that the elephants also quite often do in an attempt to get clean water is actually dig little wells. And they use their feet to actually start off making that hole, and then clean water will percolate into that well. And what they also will do is they'll use their trunks to suck up excess sand and sand water and then throw that sideways so that they can then only have clean water inside there afterwards to drink. At one stage, I was also working in Addo Elephant Park in the Eastern Cape, and there was a number of old farms where pipes were left on the ground, which was then incorporated into that conservation area. We often used to watch elephants actually taking those pipes, pulling them up, and then putting their trunk over them and sucking the moisture out of those pipes, which ended up inside those pipes, as there was always some water inside those pipes. So if there is any of you that are concerned about our safety, we're very safe at the moment. We've now walked back to the vehicle and we put our backs against the vehicle so that we can precisely see what's going on.
Monkeys alarm calling. Monkeys are alarm calling. Okay, I'm just going to quickly quickly take a look. There is monkeys alarm calling this side. I don't want to miss out on that. Sorry. It's just, yeah, monkeys are alarm calling. I know you wanted to, I wanted to listen to the water, but I want to go and I heard monkeys alarm calling just north of Twin Dams. I'm not going to miss that. Sorry. I'm going to find this leopard. Sorry, just hold on. Hold on. Okay. Not bad, eh? Not bad. All right, we might lose a little bit of signal. Going into the Molawati. He's in the Molawati here. Okay, it's right here. It's right here. Sorry. Just hold on, everybody. Please, hopefully I don't lose signal here. It's in the Molo. It's in the drain line. I wonder if it's not Molawati himself. Because I had that male leopard tracks coming this side. Oh, here he is. There, in the drainage line. There he is. There. Got him. Got him. Yes! Molawati. Ooh, Molawati. He might disappear. You know him. He doesn't stand around. Yes, welcome back, everybody. I just heard monkeys alarm calling when I was sitting at Treehouse Twin Dams, and now all of a sudden we've got a male leopard that's in the river. I don't want to go too close because, of course, if it is Molawati, you know what he's going to do. He's going to give us a slip, so I'm hoping he's not going to do that. He's thinking about it. Hopefully not. Fantastic. I'm so happy. Where's my binocs? Yay! Thank you, monkeys, once again. I think the monkeys are our heroes. Yeah, Joshua, definitely another cat day today. If anybody, I think it might be, or it could be, I just want to see nicely. No, it's a little bit of a younger one. I think this looks like, this is Tsemba. It is Tsemba. So it is Kushava's young male. It's Tsemba. He's got almost very orange eyes. If you guys can correct me then, please do, but I'll just look through my binocs now. Definitely he's got those Tsemba eyes. I don't know what is Tsemba eyes, but anyway, more like a real orangey eyes. Where's like Lamula back in the days? There was a male called Lamula. Lamula means orange, so he had very orangey eyes. No, sorry, it's just one of our directors has just got a bit of a musical background on Tsemba eyes. So just had some musical in my ears there. But as you can see, definitely a nice little area for him, nice on the soft sand. I think those monkeys will irritate him sooner or later. I think he might actually move from where he is. But I'm hoping if those monkeys, they're starting to calm down a bit, not much. But let's listen out quickly for those monkeys again. And I'm thinking Mpho was on Kelly's vehicle and they found Lamangumi. Then Mpho jumped onto my vehicle and we found Tsemba. So the moral of the story is have Mpho as your cam op. Definitely a lucky charm. He's wearing some of that that leopard scent marking fragrance deodorant. I think that's what he put on this afternoon. Apparently you actually do get something like that, I heard. But anyway, that's what I heard. What are you going to do now, boy? So I think he was still hanging around that area with that warthog that he killed yesterday. And I think he might have just dropped down into the drainage line now, of course, this afternoon from where he was. But where he was with that warthog kill was very difficult, was very thick. The drainage line itself was not very easy to get in there. So that's why we didn't really kind of locate. And you know, leopards are so secretive and elusive when they have to be. And of course, thanks to him now that he decided to just lie on the sand for us. I'm hoping he's going to come and give us a nice walk by just now. Come down the little pathway. Yes, definitely, right. What a thank you for the comment. Yeah, starting Monday with spots and ending Friday with spots. I think definitely it's nice to have your week started like that. Usually they say Blue Monday to start like that. Definitely if you start with spots, it's not going to be a Blue Monday. And then, of course, ending a week on a Friday and entering the weekend with some spots. Definitely can't ask for better. Hey, my boy. Yeah, so beautiful. Don't get up now. Oh, okay, yeah, he's going to go up that bank. Let's see what he does. Just slow movement, Sampo. I think he's going to give us a nice walk by here. It's full of warthog in that belly. All right, so of course we have to move just now. Just going to wait for him to. There's a nice little gap that we can see him from here. But if we do move and we do lose signal, please, folks, stick with us. I'm sure we'll pick up on signal very soon again. It's just a little bit of a bad spot that we are in with a signal situation in the Molawati. Just want to double check where he is. I don't think he's going to come up there. Okay, well, actually, wait. I don't think he's going to come up there. Kimpo, you ready? We must just hold on. Buckle up. Let's get up this. Let's get up this bank. We're gonna just try and get up this bank here quickly. It's gonna be a bit of a tough one, but let's do it. We can do it. Come, Rusty, you can do it. You know you can do it. Oh, he's right on top. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that on there. And boy, hopefully everybody's still with us. He's going to be walking nicely on the little sodic area coming across that side. Of course, heading now south. Let's see how much we're going to try and stick with him. All right, let's see what we can do here. Almost to a hole. All right, well, we're trying to stick with this elephant. Let's see if we can get up here.
Welcome back to Pridelands. We're still busy watching our elephant drinking. The reason why I'm giggling is because it was a few moments ago the little grebe, which is often on the dam, was trying to swim close by to where it was walking in the water. And the grebe has picked up that there's a number of different animals coming into the water. They often create disturbances, which flushes up frogs and fish, which he then can catch. But unfortunately, our elephant tried to bully him and he chased him off, and he now has gone into hiding in the thick grasses at the edge of a dam. But let's watch our elephant, and we're just going to do a quiet moment and just listen to the sounds of both black-headed oriole as well as red-billed buffalo weavers calling in the background. Seems that our elephant is now disappearing. Going into Adwood.
Welcome back. As you can see, we are sitting with Tsemba, still that young male leopard. He's around about, coming up to about 3 years old. And it's beautiful, beautiful young boy. Just, he's still on the eastern side of the Molawati now, just grooming. And I think where he came from was pretty much that area, same area as I said, from that to the warthog. So I think he's now moving away from that area. But going south, So no, of course he's heading towards more towards Sasha area. That's what I say. Well, once the Langa goes into heat, and that's now a couple of months, these young males are definitely going to show interest, and that's where Molawati is going to be definitely having his plate and his hands full, or his paws full, if you want to call it that way. So yeah, that is going to be very interesting times. But this is, Thandi that passed away now recently. This is her grandson. So his mother, Kushava, is Thandi's daughter. And of course, then it's Tsemba's mother. So, yeah, that's also definitely all related in that lineage of course, Karula, Thandi, and Safari, and all that whole lineage. So there's definitely some good genes coming through there. Some nice northern Sabi Sand genes. But it's nice that he is keeping this area. I think he is really a pretty male. He's definitely got that. He's got just different eyes. If you actually really look closely at his eyes, I mean, I saw it yesterday. Why I say so? I saw yesterday when, when he was actually throttling or suffocating the warthog. He was at one moment he was like looking up, and when he looked up, you can just see there was a leopard called Lamula. So his eyes wasn't that light as a normal, how can I say, lightish yellow. He had a little bit of that orange tinge to his eyes, and it just seems like he's got a bit of that orange tinge to his eyes. That's why when I saw him in the drainage line, and those eyes were looking at me, boom, I said, yeah, it's Zemba. Beautiful boy. And you can see his belly is nice and full there at the moment. So Machima is going to be walking around. Well, once again, as you know, leopards are opportunistic, so he won't just lie here for the night. Yeah, so he is going to be slowly but coming out. Apparently, he's just coming slowly on to 3 years old. So he's about, I think, 2.5, just over 2.5 years old. So he's almost 3. He's getting there. He's getting to that big boy status. But then if you look at, I saw him against Marips the other day there at Trias. And he was almost looking like twice the size of Marips. And definitely, I think Tsemba's got very long legs. It looks like he's definitely quite a tall leopard compared to how Marips is. And we used to also have a leopard called Msagwen. Msagwen was also very known as a donkey due to the length of his legs. It reminds me a lot of Tsemba as well. It's got really quite a tall leopard. So of course his mom at the moment, Kushava, she's got she's got a cub at the moment, a young female that's still with her. So of course he's now independent. So, but males become independent already at, what is he looking at? Sorry, something, just took notice of something. Of course, males become independent, or actually like kind of not moving around with their moms anymore, around about a year and 8 months, a year and 9 months. We have females a little bit less. A female goes to about a year and 5 months. And the reason for that is mom and daughter, so it's 2 females. So once they get to a year and a half, you'll find there's a little bit of conflict between females, mom and daughter, and usually ends up that the mom pushes the daughter away to a territory, or she'll cut a piece of a territory off for her daughter to start her own territory with. With a male, unfortunately, males tend to venture very far from mom's territory. A perfect example is Tamba. It is one of Thandi's cubs that is now in the southwestern corner of the Sabi Sands. If a crow's fly from here, it's around about maybe 35 to 40 kilometers. So that is quite a distance that Tamba moved away. And why they moved only later from their moms, about a year and 8 year, 9 months, because a male at about a year and a half already, they're really almost larger than their mothers. So it's a little bit intimidating for a female or the mother to actually push their sons out because of the size. And that usually happens with, of course, the fathers, the dominant male of the area. And when that does happen, the males tend to venture quite far away from the territories that they were brought up in. But then again, You know, as I say, in nature, you can never write on rock. Things always change up very quickly. I mean, quarantine didn't go too far. I mean, quarantine's on the eastern border of the Sabi Sands. That's just not really far from where he was brought up. So, things, you can never really say it's exactly that's the way it's going to work. But that is just a rough estimate. Yes, and with leopards as well, because males really control quite a large area. Looking at around about, once again, that Panthera project gives us a lot of insight on things, on territory sizes and all that. And male territory, I mean, I know Mvula's territory was, sure, if I'm looking from Gowrie, Main, from Arethusa side all the way to the Kruger boundary, it's 8 kilometers, 10 kilometers in there. So say about between 10 to 15 kilometers, square kilometers. That's how big Mvula's territory was. And in his territory, he'll have 2 or 3 female territories. Of course, that time was, of course, Tandi, it was Karula, female in the south, what's her name, Kwatile. So there was 2 or 3, even sometimes 4 females in a male's territory. And a female's territory is way smaller, about a third, or sometimes even a quarter of a male's territory. So males do tend to walk way more, or greater distances than females. I think he's definitely taken notice of something. But I also had big male leopard tracks coming down Nyala South this morning, coming into this area. So I wonder if maybe he's hearing something that side, and I'm not too sure. But anyway, yeah, he's definitely picked up on something. I just want to double check. It'll be interesting to see Molawati come in here now. Molawati is definitely not going to come in here silently. Well, he'll come in silently first, but then it's not going to take any trouble from Tsemba, because this is his territory. I think he wants to get going. Hopefully it doesn't drop into the Molawati again. Or if it does, not too bad, then we'll just shoot around towards Gowrie Main. Beautiful boy. Yeah, he's going into the Molawati. That's just what I thought. Okay, let's try and shoot around. Okay, he's dropping into the Molawati. Oh, Rusty almost didn't want to start there. Imagine that. Right, let's try and get around. Let's see if we can get him in the Molawati there. I think this is a 2-track, yeah. I think we can use this 2-track around. Yeah, okay, just watch out there, Paul. Don't want to leave you in the branches there. You'll be... close. Still got visual of him. I think he's dropped in. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, well, as we're going to go through a little bit of a patchy little area, so we will get back to you as soon as we find the leopard, but unfortunately this is a very tough area for signal. Yeah, welcome back. We've got just a hyena. We lost Simba now, but we've got a hyena that's now just come out of the bush. I think Tsemba went into the bush as a leopard and he came out as a hyena. So that is crazy. But anyway, the hyena is now just moving a little bit. I don't know which hyena it is. I think it's one of the young, it's one of the males. They've got a bad scratch on the bum. A real bad scratch, a bad injury on the bum there. But unfortunately, yeah, we do apologise about JP's faults that side. I think a couple of gremlins had crept into the technical sides, but you know how it goes. Unfortunately, sometimes in the bush, it loses signals and, of course, and it just freezes. But yeah, you're still with us. Don't worry, you're still with us, and we are still searching for Tsemba. I'm hoping he's going to come out and pop out here somewhere. As I said, he went into the bush as a leopard and he came out as a hyena. I think that hyena's now pushed off that side. I'm trying to listen, but I did hear alarm calls of birds further in. He definitely hasn't come this far yet. I'm just scared that he comes above us. It is very thick here at the moment, and fortunately, if I do go a little bit further up the Molawati, we are going to lose signal. There's a little bit of a dead spot here that sometimes we do lose the signal, so I'm not going to go too far up or a little bit north and lose signal, and just know we do get him and we can't get back. So yeah, let's just wait. I think a patient game is always the best game, so let's just listen out and maybe hear some alarm calls. Sasha, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Wild Earth. How do we identify a leopard's age? We can put it this way with a male leopard. A male leopard, of course, you'll find the dewlap that sits pretty much under the neck, between the head and the shoulders. It becomes much wider, much more prominent, and compared to a younger male. Like you look at, if you saw Tsemba's dewlap is just starting to hang a little bit under his neck. But when they get to about 4.5, 5 years old, that dewlap becomes really prominent and makes their neck much thicker and more muscular. So, as well as their body as well, the size of their bodies. So, I mean, a full-grown male, you're looking at around about 75, 80 kilograms. That's by the body size. And the females, of course, they do not have dewlaps. The female is very much a very petite leopard, and they don't have that dewlap. But of course, then the body size comes into play. But unfortunately, sometimes back in the days, I remember with Thandi. I mean, Thandi was already at 6, 7, 8 years old, and because Thandi was a very small leopard, like her sister Shadow, so a lot of people thought that she was definitely younger, but because she was a small leopard. So sometimes this is the body size, you can't really tell the exact age, but with a male, more so due to the dewlap that's actually hanging underneath the neck itself. But of course, you can't do the exact age, but I'm putting like a rough estimate to the age of a leopard by looking at that. So I'm just trying to figure out, where did this boy go? I hear something moving just inside here, but I'm just waiting. I thought he would come down here. I'm going to just pan around. If you guys do see anything, if you spot something, let us know, please. If you get to see something that I miss, let us, please send a comment. ASAP. What I'm doing at the moment, I'm just using my sense of hearing, because that's always the best thing. especially if you do not have visual. I think sense of hearing, got like birds alarm calling or squirrels or something like that. At least I can pinpoint the direction and how far he is. But it is very thick on the side, yeah, so it's not, not that easy. Unless he's got an interesting, but he knows, Tsemba is not just he's a male that sometimes he can enjoy your company, and sometimes he'll also just do what leopards do best and stay secretive. I don't blame them at all. It's always good. Let a leopard be a leopard. A couple of birds alarm calling inside. Yeah, little aramellas that's actually calling. I think what we'll do, I'm just scared to go up this drainage and lose signal, but maybe we try and give it a go. It might be a little bit scratchy. I don't know if, what do you think? That side? From that side, look from that side, yeah. Yeah, I think what we'll try and do, we're going to go a little bit further up this drainage line. And let's hold thumbs and let's see. If we do lose you, please just, remain seated and keep on watching. I'm sure we will be back not long from then. Let's see if I don't get stuck. All right, let's go. Oh, how exciting so far this afternoon's drive. So much entertainment this afternoon. That's the bush. It's amazing how much entertainment you can get. All of a sudden you get a couple of leopards around on Klamangumi. Then you get old Kelly with amazing mechanical skills. And now we're trying to look for... Anyway, let's, while we continue searching for Tsemba, let's head back to JP. I think he's got a beautiful evening sky. Show everybody.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment we are looking at the moon, and if you do have a look at it, it's actually forming a C shape, which means it's either, in this case, climbing or waxing, as I like to refer to it. Unlike that in the northern hemisphere, where it actually will now be declining in size or waning. So when the moon on our side starts making a D shape, it then is when it's going through the waxing phase, the waning phase of the moon. There's a few things that's quite interesting. If we do follow the moon, if we do go from new moon, it will become a first crescent, which is a tiny little sliver, and then it will go to first quarter, where it's precisely right at now. Within a few days' time, we'll see that it will be 3/4 illuminated, where it will actually go to a phase which is referred to a gibbous moon, and in this case, a gibbous waxing moon, and eventually back to full moon, and from full moon, it will start going through the waning phase. Again, it will go from there into a waning 3/4 or gibbous moon, and eventually a last quarter, as it be referred to it, and then that last little sliver before it actually goes back into new moon again. There are a few things I do find particularly interesting. If we look at our own planet, we do have beautiful sunsets, and the reason why is because we actually have an atmosphere, but around the moon there's no atmosphere, and where the sun strikes, it leads to immediate darkness. At this very moment, if we do look at the tides, what will occur when we have a moon that is which is on half moon, or as we earlier mentioned, on this quarter, then we will notice that we have tides that are equally distributed over the surface of the ocean. And the reason why is because both the Earth and the Sun and the Moon forms a 90-degree angle, which lessens the tidal effects. But when it does come to a full moon, we will find that both sun, earth and moon will form a straight line. But at that point, we will find that the earth will be in the center between the sun and moon, therefore slightly more equally distributing high spring tide. And then when it comes to new moon, we'll find that both the sun and the moon will be pulling from the same side, therefore creating incredibly high tides and incredibly low tides at specific points on the Earth's surface. Good evening, Linda. And I also love watching the moon. I do love watching stars, and I also do love all the star lore, especially in terms of both ancient Greek as well as Chinese and Arabic, but also that of the indigenous South African star lore, which is associated with many of the constellations. And I can sit for hours watching stars. Just love it. And especially now that it's becoming winter and our skies are more clear and crisp at night, it makes for great stargazing. There's a few places in South Africa which has exceptional stargazing, and one of those places is a small little town called Sutherland, and very close to it is the SALT telescope, which is South Africa's largest telescope. There's also a number of smaller operators which provide astronomy tours with a large number of different sized telescopes, which enables you to really go into those deep space objects. Good evening, Vaimarana, and welcome to the show. We find that the moon will have a gravitational pull on a specific point on the Earth's surface. So the influence will be at that specific point. And we must also remember that the Earth doesn't rotate in a straight line. It's actually slanted at an axis of approximately 23.5 degrees, if I remember correctly. So therefore, it won't... it will definitely have a very different influence on different parts of the equator. Welcome back to Providence. We're just going to share this beautiful moonrise with you. And at the moment, it's in the first quarter phase. We're not going to say much. We're just going to allow you the opportunity to look at the moon as well as listen to the sounds of insects in the background.
as you can see, we are in infrared. Of course, the reason for infrared, we can view them at night time without putting any spotlights on them, which is absolutely amazing. So it keeps them really in more of a natural lighting. And, of course, he doesn't get too irritated with any of the spotlights around him, which is fantastic. But Tsemba I don't know what he's doing. He's like catching flies, and now he was lying flat and head over the bank there. So he's not too far where he was. We just went up for a little bit further up the Molawati and got him up. And so luckily we got some nice signal as well this side. So fantastic that we could relocate on this beautiful male leopard. Of course, still grooming, but he keeps on looking back at Twin Dams quite a bit. It's like, he's like, I think he wants to go back. I want to see which way he wants to go. But it looked like he was flat just now. He wanted to like almost have a bit of a lie down. Something keeps on getting his attention. And I wonder what he keeps on hearing further up towards Twin Dams side. So we're just east of Twin Dams in the Molawati. We did have a hyena coming past here earlier. I don't know which hyena it was. It was a male, but he had a scar on his bum cheek. So maybe somebody knows a male that's got a scar on his bum cheek. So yeah, but look at that. Beautiful boy. What are you going to do? You want another warthog? Are you becoming greedy? Shreya, thank you very much. And Ndebele. Okay, very nice to see Ndebele. Ndebele missed him completely. All right, so he's coming along the bank. Folks, if he does move, we've got us to move a little bit. We might lose a bit of signal. I'm hoping not so. I'm just holding thumbs and crossing my toes. Okay. Well, don't worry, just get into a little bit of a thicker little area here, but it didn't move closer towards us. But I think he decided to put his head behind some grass. Well, at least we know he's still there. We don't have to move too much now. Just scared if we do move a little bit that we do lose the signal. Of course, maybe that's why just earlier on, remember he actually turned around at one stage and really faced north. I mean, I thought it was maybe he picked up on Molawati or maybe another leopard or something. It was that side. I think it was Ndebele that was coming through and passing by. Many times you'll find hyenas do follow leopards around, waiting for them to make a kill and take that opportunity and steal the kill from the leopard itself. It does happen quite often that way, but I think Ndebele just decided to move on very swiftly, or maybe just pick up on Tsemba. But yes, no, definitely it's so nice just having two beautiful young male leopards for this afternoon sunset safari. It's always so special. I think it's nice to just really look into their lives and just to see what they do and how they go about kind of coming into their adulthood and where they're going to go. And, well, as I say, you never know what's going to happen with these young males around here. I think the competition is, as I said, very high. Tortoise Band on the east, on the western side. And you got Molawati on Djuma Private Game Reserve. And of course, Tsemba was been seen a little bit more to the north, but it looks like coming down quite south now, more to his mom's territory, towards Chitwa side. And then, of course, you've got Sasha, the other young male leopard that's just 3 years old. That's just south of Garimain, south from where we are. And old poor Marips is also around as well, but he's still young, 2 years old. So it's a good learning curve for him, and I'm sure each one will find their little place and order in a greater Kruger Park somewhere, someday. I think he wants to move again. I think he's going to get up. Yeah, come this way. He's just quickly cleaning, getting ready. I think maybe wants to move a little bit further south on the eastern bank of the Molawati here. So hopefully he'll come nicely in the open area. But yeah, these folks, if anybody's got any questions or any comments while we're sitting with Temba for the last few more minutes on the Sunset Safari, please, you know where to send it. Just go #WildEarth on Twitter, or just go onto our webpage if you are there ready. Just send us some comments. Of course, wildearth.tv. And if any kids want to send any nice little questions through to us or comments, just go to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. And of course, just pop us an email on that email address. Where did he go now? I think he's still there. Oh, yeah, he's still there. I can just see a couple. It's amazing how well camouflaged are. Just trying to see. I can just see his eye. Wow, actually really well camouflaged in that amongst that grass there. No, I don't know what he's doing now. Maybe just grooming his paw. Yeah. Yeah, there you are. I hope once again, hopefully our sunrise safari will be just as great and successful as our sunset this afternoon. And I'm sure Wendy, there was a very entertaining vehicle, and Kelly as well this afternoon. So, and actually tracking them down. Yeah, that has been entertaining for today. Very, very entertaining. And of course, the leopards are always entertaining. You can never. Roman, good evening. Thank you. Yes, I don't know. It's 2 leopards on a Friday. I don't know what Saturday will bring us. But let's see. I think I'm hoping for some lions, really. Some lions. But then again, I'm actually hoping for more leopards, always. But more so for leopards. But lions will be good as well. Just to see them coming through again. I'd love to see the Nkumas and those 3 Nkuma females and the 7 cubs. Last I heard, they were around there on Little Gowrie side, south of us. So you never know. Maybe they come north. If they do, it'll be fantastic tomorrow morning. And hopefully we have a whole Catterday tomorrow. There we go, my boy. And you're going to move a little bit further south for us. What are you thinking? Are you coming this way? Ali Karma, good evening. The oldest leopard I've seen is Safari. That is now, of course, this male leopard, Tsemba's great-great-grandmother, Safari. She had 1 eye. She got up to 19 years old. So she lived right up to 19 years old. So she lived a proper leopard life. Can you believe it? 19. Okay, I think he's now. I just want to double check so I don't want to lose him. Yeah. Thanks for the question, comment. I think he might be coming down here. Is he? No. I just heard some bushes rustling here. I think he's just gone behind there. Okay, I'm just going to quickly have the spotlight. I just want to double check on where he's gone. So just to locate him again. I think he's gone a little bit further up that way. I think he's gone a little bit further south of us. So I don't think he's going to come on that open clearing. I think we'll have to move, but I'm scared that we're going to lose signal. That's the only thing. You seen that? Yeah, I don't see him coming. But he's supposed to be coming out there. Maybe we must go a little bit forward, huh? I think we can. Okay. He's gone up that way. He's gone south. He's gone south. He's yeah, I don't think we're gonna. He's gone south, straight to Gary Main. Okay. Shucks. Right, you did move a little bit further south. I'm just going to stop just here. All right, so we're just back. Sorry about the... Just going to use the spotlight. I just want to try and relocate on Tsemba. I know he was moving down south, so I'm just going to see if I can pick him up here. I think he might be moving through more of the thicker areas. Well, maybe I can try and get on top of the eastern bank there. If I can get on the eastern bank, I think we might have him coming straight towards us. But also, that's what I love about leopards, eh? So elusive, they. That's what it's like. They're so sneaky. That's why I think I had a question earlier about how many leopards are there in the reserve. And this is a classic case. You can imagine you're doing a census right now on how many leopards, and you'll miss Tsemba completely. You won't know he's even here. So to really put that number on this animal, it's very, very difficult. I think Tsemba, if I'm not mistaken, I think Tsemba's not on. I think he's also not on the Panthera list at the moment. I must just double check on that. So when I'm talking about the Panthera is of course where all the guides in the Sabi Sands, every lodge has got a program, a database for leopards and lions. So what happens is if we do see a leopard, an individual, we go onto that database and we'll actually pinpoint, put a GPS pin down on exactly where we saw that leopard. For instance, I'll give an example. If we saw Kashava, I'll say we saw Kashava at this place, put a pin exactly on that map, and then the next little block will say, was Kashava, did Kashava have cubs with her? You'll say yes, one cub. The next block will say, did she have a kill? You'll say yes. Was a kill hoisted in the tree? Yes. What was the kill? You'll say impala. So it gives us so much insight of what they do kill, how many times do they hoist the kills up into the tree, was it a male impala, was it a female impala, a youngster, old one. So all that database for all the guides in the area gets put together. And if you want to find out about Kashava now, for instance, from the 1st of January to the 30th of December, you just type in Kashava, 1st of January to the 30th of December, and it'll show you all the pin drops from all the guides that had sighting of that leopard, and then it'll tell you exactly how many kills did she make, what did she kill, how many times did it hoist the kill, and it gives you all that information, which is absolutely incredible. One of the nicest research programs that we do have in the Sabi Sands. I think it's magical, and that's been going on for quite some time. I think the Panthera program has been going since I remember, since 2010, from all the lodges. It was, of course, very small at that time, but it just became much more kind of updated and more specific on other information that we always want to know about it. Now, that's just with leopards. Now, even lions, so I'll tell you exactly Nkuma lions, how many cubs were with them, is it male cubs and female cubs, and all that, and how many times they were seen, and what they've taken down, and where they've been seen. So all that information we do pull, and it's fantastic. It's really gives us a better understanding of our leopards and lions around this area. Mabel, good evening. What night sounds? If you can hear, it's beautiful. You know, many times you can hear that Verreaux's eagle owl, that real deep, like a real deep noise, which is absolutely nice, like a real bass. Then you got your beautiful fiery neck nightjar, you know, different nightjars. So your fiery neck nightjar, that's a very common one that you always hear, that beautiful noise of a fiery neck nightjar, like a real typical low felt ball, actually like a South African night noise that you can find on the outskirts of towns and in the bush and all that. I think it's a stunning sound. So there's so many different, and of course, if your leopard starts soaring, of course, like Tsema won't start soaring. But yeah, let's see what we can hear for now. I can hear a lot of wind at the moment, but let's see, maybe find something. There's so much wind around here. I think it does sound like an ocean around this side. It feels like I'm sitting there at a beach or something, with the ocean breaking, or the waves breaking in the background, with all the wind that's going through the grass and the leaves here at the moment. Lekker belizia. Horse Lover 63. We had such a fantastic drive. Absolutely amazing drive this afternoon. As you know, we had Lamangumi. We had Temba this evening. A fantastic sighting of Temba. Thank you very much. And beautiful sighting at JP in Pridelands with that elephant. So it has been a magical evening, a magical sunset drive once again here on Wild Earth. And once again, I thank everybody for their beautiful comments, questions, suggestions. Thank you very much for watching our live drive this evening. It means a lot to us. And hopefully tomorrow morning we get you some more cats it is cat day tomorrow, so hopefully we can get some lions and all that. But from the Wild Earth team, we say have a wonderful evening and good night.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.